What's happening, people? It's another Wednesday night. Look how quickly that week went since last time. It is the Scarfey Talks Premier League show once a week. You know you want to be here. You know you love it, as always. And as always, I have some amazing guests with me tonight. Some of my existing regulars, a couple of debuts as well. Some people who are meant to be here but not are here yet. Whether they turn up, we will have a nice little question for them. But now let's jump straight into it. So, Barney, good to have you on again, mate. One of my regular co-hosts this year. How you doing?
I'm very good, Kallum. Good to sort of chat to you all. And I'm looking forward to sort of talking some Premier League football tonight.
Lovely stuff. Craig, I'm stuck with you again this week, mate. I know that you've probably been on cloud nine for a couple of weeks now. So how you doing?
Oh, honestly, mate, it keeps getting better and better and better. I didn't think it could get better from that Newcastle win, and then we did what we did, which I'm sure we'll discuss. But yeah, when will it end? We don't want it to end, but it's going to end somewhere. But hopefully, it's not this weekend, and we can do the rest of the Premier League a bit of a favour.
I appreciate your honesty, mate. I appreciate your optimism. Joesph, I know that me and you would want our current tenure to end in some way or another. It's great to have another Spurs fan on because you can take all the flack tonight because I've had it constantly for the last 9 weeks. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I've just been getting involved with the Scarfey Spurs Talk page, doing some Twitter spaces, doing different things and being on the podcast. But it's good to talk more about general Premier League football than just Tottenham. I'm getting tired talking about Tottenham. So yeah, looking forward to hearing everyone's opinions and yeah, previewing the next game week. Hopefully we can get something a bit better with Tottenham. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, the problem is we've all got to live back through last time, first and foremost. And I can see Craig's got a massive shit-eater grin on right now, down in the bottom corner.
Oh, I won't in a couple of weeks if Iriola does choose to go to Tottenham Hotspur. I really won't, but I can't see it in a million years, guys. I'm so, I'm absolutely delighted with what he's done here. He's outstanding. It doesn't surprise me that he's getting suitors. I am. It does not shock me at all. However, I can't see him going to Spurs because, like we said before, Daniel Levy is tighter than a duck's arse. He doesn't back his managers, and it would just be, it's effectively managerial suicide for him to go to Spurs, and it shouldn't be like that, to be fair. But I see that you've put it up on the screen, the 5-0 win. So before this game, like I did the Newcastle game, I went into it with a bit of trepidation. I thought, Forest have been very, very good all season. We've got a fantastic record against them. However, I found out before the game as well that there was a number of teams that they had bad records against in the Premier League, and they seemed to overturn them. And it was only us and Manchester City left. And I thought, yeah, this is, I think this could be a very, very tough game. Of course, we haven't got a striker. And from moment one, Iriola did it again, played the same squad. So he went with the same side as he did up at Newcastle. And he started around about the 6th minute. To be fair, before the 6th minute, Forest were quite good. They did threaten us a couple of times, and I thought, this is going to be a tough, tough day. But Kluivert ran through. He must have picked it up just outside the halfway line, ran through, dodged past a couple of Forest defenders, and then struck a beautifully shot. Well, just beautiful shot into that bottom left-hand corner. That I don't blame Sells in the Forest goal for that at all, because I don't think any goalkeeper really would have saved that. And we've said that a couple of times. I said this last week as well against Newcastle. Some of his goals are just exquisite. Some of them are just excellent, and I think, he is kind of outshining his father now in English football, at least. And he keeps getting better and better. And then Dongo got in the act, or Dango. Everybody says it's Dango. I've been told it's Dongo. Somebody else said it was Dango. Whatever you call him, the man's a legend. A lovely guy, always got a smile on his face. Maybe I need to ask him what his actual name is, but he might think that's a bit rude. But across from that man, Clivert, straight to the back post, header sweetly taken, bloody beautiful, and 2-0. And we were flying. We should have had another goal as well. Dongo
That
was
was
offside.
Clivert's, weren't it? Clivert's.
Yeah, it was. Again, it was well taken. It was well taken, but of course, Dongo, he was offside. Hey, that's what VAR is there for. I've moaned a lot about VAR in the past and whinged about in the Burnley situation where we equalised and then they pulled it all the way back for a penalty a couple of years back. Hey, I think that is what VAR is there for, and fair play, got it right. But we just kept going. We kept putting Forest under pressure. Chris Wood didn't even get a sniff. So Zabania and Dean Howson did a fantastic job on him. Just snuffed him out of the game. Just completely snuffed him out of the game. Lewis Cook, right back. It looks like he's played there all his life, but he's normally a midfielder. And yeah, Dongo got a hat trick. Dongo got a hat trick. And then Semenyo finished it off with a beautifully taken strike in injury time. And never in a million years did I think we'd beat Nottingham Forest 5-0. A lot of them were saying it's an off day for them, but let's be fair. Like the Newcastle fans said last week, we deserved that victory, and we now go to Dan's favourite team, or we welcome Dan's favourite team in Liverpool, and I honestly think it is their toughest game of the season, and I'll say it here now. I think we're going to beat them. I actually think we're going to beat them. And I feel confident about that. Playing like we are, we're going to cause them trouble at the back. Mo Salah is always going to be a threat, but at the same time, we will make sure that Dean Howson and Zabania, we've got full confidence on, in those two. I think Christie's going to be doing his running around. Maybe he's going to be watching Salah's runs through. Maybe he's just sitting in a little bit more of a holding role. But I can see us beating them, and we haven't got a striker. And actually, Dongo is actually playing out of his skin. I don't think we need to go and sign one. Because he drops back, he brings other players into play, a bit like Solanke did, and then he moves forwards, and he's always in the right place. It's no longer the one thing right, 9 things wrong. He's turned into prime bloody Messi overnight, and this is the difference between a manager and I'm going to pick on Spurs here. Sorry. This is the difference between a manager like Postecoglou. I like the man. I really, he's a genuinely nice bloke, Postecoglou. But it's the difference between a Postecoglou or a Sean Dyche or, going back even further, Sam Allardyce, Alan Pardew, comparing it to an Iriola, a Pep, a Fabian Hertzler, a manager like that, because they find adaptions in the player to actually fit them into a role, which actually Dango is probably suiting more than on that left-hand side where he's swinging balls in and you thought, oh, that's a bit too long. That's a little bit too short, that one. Don't actually know. No, he's not even crossed that one. He's always there. He's turned. Wow, he's looking like prime bloody Messi overnight. It's unbelievable to watch. All right, yeah, he's not as good as Messi, but you get my point. The level of where he was in his preferred and his normal position to where he is now, stuck up front, is completely different.
No.
And I can't see. It's going to end at some point, and of course we don't want it to end. But I don't think it's going to be this weekend.
Well, hopefully it keeps the good times running. Dan, better late than never. Nice of you to finally show up, mate. I know that you had to do sweet fuck all with your life as always. So how you doing, mate?
Oh, you know what they say: never turn up early on a date. Treat them mean, keep them keen, and that's why I arrived late. In with a bang, though. Yeah, I think I had this down as a draw.
Yeah, I think most of us did go for draws, or it was going to be a Forest tight win sort of thing. It was going to be like 1 or 2-0 maximum. So, I mean, Dan, I'll bring you straight in on it because, like Craig's just given us the full tactical overview and Iriola's inside leg measurement as well to go along with it.
He's just on absolute cloud nine, he is, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute cloud nine.
And I really like seeing Bournemouth enjoy themselves, and I don't like to see Forest lose because obviously they've been one of the teams that we've all been happy to see, a breath of fresh air, like how Leicester were a couple of years ago. But I mean, they completely got outplayed, didn't they, within this game, apart from the odd part. Can you talk me through it from a Forest side, please, mate?
I always thought Forest was due one of these games, and they did completely get outplayed. I think in the centre of midfield, you'd probably say confidence as well. It looked like this was a game that was coming for Nottingham Forest. Like, it was either Bournemouth or Nottingham Forest, two teams massively in form, and one was going to hit a bad game because I didn't have a feeling it was going to be a thriller. Someone was always going to stand out more than the other, and Forest they're off it. They was off it, but that's no disrespect to Bournemouth, by the way. Bournemouth was on it, and that was a big part of it. So.
There was a period, though. There was a period, between that first goal going in, towards the end of the first half, start of the second half, Forest, for a period, were the better side. So, although a lot of people are saying, yeah, they had a bit of an off day. And, I do agree that maybe Nuno could have changed things to actually make it a bit more difficult for ourselves. It was just the way we managed everything. When we were under that bit of pressure, and it must have been 20 minutes over the two halves combined. We dealt with it perfectly. We didn't look under any threat at the back. Kepa did make a very good save at one point, tapping the ball over. I think, if I'm right in thinking, it was Murillo, but they didn't add it. Do you know what? What's weird about it was they didn't add it to the highlights reel. But yeah, there was a very, very good save.
Probably thought that five goals was enough. With most of them actually
five goals plus an offside to go along with it.
Yeah, most of them actually being 0-0, and they only have to normally put 2-3 goals in. But I'm really hoping that Bournemouth do beat Liverpool, the shit team. You know what I mean? And then we've got Bournemouth in the cup, and I'm looking forward to absolutely smashing Bournemouth. So to see Bournemouth put a 5-0 win, and their bad game not have come yet, Kallum, excites me. I would have hated for Forest to have won 5-0 and Bournemouth been up for the cup game against us. But no, I'm happy for Bournemouth to be on cloud nine because they won't stay in those clouds when they play Everton in the FA Cup because I'm ready to smash them.
I'll say this, I'm actually worried about that game at Goodison Park. I am actually worried.
I would be as well.
Yeah, Craig, I think Moyes has really got Everton's heart beating. It's Shane Postecoglou can't get Spurs' heart pacing because at the end of the day, it would stop all the Iriola rumours. But
I can remove.
He's not even giving it large back to me, Craig. He's not even Kallum. He's not even giving it large back to me. Like I thought he was going to come at me then and say, "No, we're going to smash you." But he's got.
You know what? I am concerned. I am concerned.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Everton, but as you know, I think it's going to be the toughest game out of the two. The main reason being is because the pressure is right on Liverpool this weekend. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about that this is going to be a banana skin for Liverpool.
Do you feel, on what you just said, though, obviously we're going on the other teams in a minute, but do you feel, I feel Bournemouth are a team that are playing above themselves, and I feel you're going to get some pressure now at some point, because you've got yourself in a position now where you're going to say, if we don't get top four, I'll be gutted. And the pressure's going to be on. And when at the minute you're playing with no pressure, you're just thinking, you know what? We didn't even think we'd have a season like this. But there's going to come a point towards later on in the season where your fans, the players are going to feel pressure and the freedom's going to go, because you're going to be end of the season with a chance to get in a real good position. That could change. Do you feel it could change your players?
Yeah, you're right. You're right, but I don't feel it's at this point. At this point, we're on 40 points. We are now officially, or I know it's not official, but let's be honest, we're not going to get relegated. There is no way in a million years we're going to get relegated. So that
I wish we could say the same. I wish we could say the same.
We can play with that little bit of impetus, that little bit of freedom.
I don't know who shit-eater grin is bigger here. I've got Barney in the middle. I've got Craig down below, and I've got that twat below me.
And you've called in a Spurs bodyguard fan to back you up tonight as well.
Trust me, I ain't going to be backing him up. I'm going to be slating Tottenham as much as everyone else.
I know. I'm a neutral tonight, so target him. Target Joe.
Just wait. Don't worry. I'm just going to be agreeing with you. I'd like to say about the Bournemouth game, though. I was surprised because I think Nottingham Forest, the one thing I've been so impressed with them so far this year is how sound they have been defensively. Yeah. It was so surprising to see 5 goals just put past them so quickly. Because 4 of them came in the second half. It was 1-0 at halftime, wasn't it? And they just seemed to capitulate. Yeah. And it was just, but I think, again, when I was watching those goals, it just proves the attacking style of Iraola is so impressive. The disallowed goal, especially, I thought it was beautiful football. Cliver to Ouattara, and it was just beautiful football. And it was just, it's a shame it was disallowed, to be honest, because I thought that was the goal of the bunch, to be honest. But no, just Iraola's got Bournemouth really ticking. And I understand what you're saying, Dan, about maybe this form won't continue for Bournemouth. But if they can keep going with the offensive firepower they have, even, with these injuries that they've picked up, I don't know. I think they just got to try and keep the good vibes going. There's no reason why they can't get a European spot. Top 4 might be a bit out of their reach, I think, if we're being honest. But European football is 100% on the cards for Bournemouth this season if they can just keep going, and hopefully the injuries don't catch up with them.
No, I know it's bad to compare a team with another team, but I see Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth as a Leicester, when Leicester had that season where they won the league and there was just confidence sky high, and you expect it to stop, and it don't. So like you just said, right, so it's going to be, as long as they're confident, there's no reason why, and they don't get injuries, there's no reason why they can't keep it going. But we're all watching to think, is it going to stop? Is this going to last? Because it's a little bit unexpected. So, but they are, Bournemouth, I can't underestimate them anymore. Sometimes I've thought, you know what, I've gone with Bournemouth like what they've done in the past. I go, but Bournemouth won't win that. Bournemouth won't win that by what they've done in the past. But this is completely different Bournemouth and a completely different manager. You've got to take Bournemouth seriously now.
Dan, exactly. I'll tell you what, if we do, somehow keep this run going and Liverpool capitulate and we win the league, I think you'll probably forgive me for that 3-2 win earlier on in the season.
I won't. Liverpool better win the league. I'm not having Arsenal win it.
Well, I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming. It would just be unbelievable.
Or Nottingham Forest or Bournemouth.
Exactly. Right, let's move on to the next one, because we're already at nearly 20 minutes and all that on that one game. So
sorry.
No, it's all right. No, we'll keep it to going to 2 people for each game, I think, with inclinations towards it. So I'll give the Liverpool-Ipswich game to Joesph and Barney. Barney, obviously, Ipswich have been one of our feel-good teams. We've enjoyed watching them. We've enjoyed doing it. You are on mute, mate.
I didn't even realise. Sorry, there was a plane going over.
All right. Yeah, no. So definitely feel good team for us. But I think we kind of did predict this one coming, that I think Ipswich would end up with a bloody nose a little bit. Not the most glamorous 4-1 win. I mean, they tried to go toe to toe with Liverpool and instead left a lot of gaping holes across. So talk me through this one, please, mate.
I mean, from the game, the highlights I saw, Liverpool are a quality side. I think we can all agree on that, can't we? I mean, when I watched...
And do you share that feeling?
I hate them. I really do hate them more and more every game.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, they're a frustrating team in the games that we've played them. They always find that ability to sort of get a goal back. When the stakes are down, even when they were a player down with us, they still find that belief. And against Ipswich, I mean, they're shipping goals for fun, aren't they, Kallum, to be honest? They look aside, devoid of confidence. They can be great one week, Ipswich can. I really admire what their manager is trying to achieve there. But when you've got the likes of Mo Salah, Geppo, and I'm going to get his pronunciation wrong, but that first goal by Liverpool was, really, really good. You can never underestimate Liverpool. I mean, they're at the top of the table for a reason. I've really enjoyed watching them this season, and I really rate their manager. He's doing a great job. And, the stats back up what I saw at the highlights in the game. And I don't think Ipswich can have many complaints about that, to be honest, Kallum. I really enjoyed the game.
No, that's fair. And Joesph, do you think that Ipswich's goal difference can keep getting worse and worse and that they will survive this season, because it's looking more bleak every weekend at the moment for them?
You're right. It's not looking great for them. I mean, I think this game went pretty much how everyone expected, in a sense. I think people expected Liverpool to just come out the blocks and kind of get the win, especially after that City game that Ipswich had. The one thing I'd say, I think Liverpool scoring that early goal really derailed maybe Ipswich's game plan. I think they probably wanted to try and stay in the game as long as they could, but an early goal kind of sets them back. They've got to come out then. They can't kind of just defend a little bit like they did against us when they beat us at home, when we were at home. But I mean, I don't know, maybe the goal difference will come into effect towards the end. I don't think they shouldn't dwell on that too much. It's just about trying to pick up points against their, relegation rivals. And they've just got to try and, get those points when they can. I mean, it'll be a couple points in it towards the end of the season, and maybe then we'll start looking at goal difference. But I think, the squad they've come up with, you can't be sitting here expecting to go toe-to-toe with Liverpool and Manchester City. You've got to understand that these are the top teams in the Premier League that spend the most money. You're going to struggle to compete with them, and you're going to take these games, but you've just got to move on to the next, just forget about it almost and get going onto the next game. So, I'm looking for, I feel like Ipswich have enough to stay up. I think they're the one team that I think I really do believe in to stay up. So, yeah, I'm rooting for them as well. I like what they're doing.
Yeah, no, hands down, mate. I mean, they are probably one of the most local teams to me in North Essex, so I would always like Ipswich to survive. They do have a lot of good players, so here's hoping. And I know that if Liverpool are going to have a slip up, this was definitely not going to be the game.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one thing I would say, though, not from the game itself, but just from Liverpool in general. Like, I look at how they've played in some of these games, Southampton away, I think they had a little bit of a wobble. Just some of these games, they're getting through them, but they're not always convincing. And I think Liverpool need to be wary. Like you said, going to Bournemouth, that's a tough game. And that's a game they could easily slip up at. And as soon as they slip up, Arsenal are on their toes. So they've got to be really wary. The other thing is, they haven't dealt with that many injuries for a long extent. So they've got to be careful. They've got to really kind of just, get through some games. And they've got to hope that players stay fit.
Yeah, on the other side of that, even imagine if they are playing not even to top level, I dread to think if top level game for Liverpool is going to be at Bournemouth, what would happen? I can see Craig already crossing faults, trying to meet all the dots in your head as well.
Well, Liverpool, when they are in, fifth gear, are an impressive side. We've seen it a couple of times this season. I spoke to, name drop, Peter Hooton from the farm. Believe it or not, Dan, I know this is a crazy thing, a bit off topic this, but Peter Hooton, who sang All Together Now, the 1995 FA Cup song for Everton, is actually a Liverpool fan. But he believes that they're not really playing
You
out of
just broke
second
Dan's
gear.
heart. You just broke.
Not
Dan's
really,
heart.
because Jamie Carragher's an Everton fan, isn't he, and tries to act like he's a
He is,
Liverpool fan.
yeah, he is. I
He's
did
just a
ask him
prick.
about
So-
that.
He's just a prick.
It does happen. We've had some players that have come from Liverpool and turned into Evertonians when they played for us because they've realised we're a better club. So yeah, it happens because it's close.
No.
But yeah, I personally think, you know, if Liverpool go into fifth gear, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really difficult. You know, we might be able to keep them out because, let's be honest, Zabania and Dean Howson have been absolutely brilliant so far as a partnership. In fact, Zabania and Senesi has kind of been eclipsed by Howson coming in. And of course, we do have Milos Kerkez as well, who is, without a shadow of a doubt, Barney, don't argue with me, he is the best left back in the Premier League by far. There's no denying it. He's just quality. He's quality, and I don't think he should go to. He is very heavily linked with Liverpool because of Richard Hughes. I personally think that if Liverpool was continue their trend of kind of playing in second gear, which I think is enough to beat Ipswich at least, and definitely enough to beat Spurs. You know, I think you know, as soon as they get into fifth gear, you know, they're going to be really dangerous. But we should be able to give them a right game on Saturday.
Well, here's hoping. Here's hoping. Right, Dan. I know how you loved it. I saw every video under the sun from you. I had texts, I had reels, I had everything. And it was that your big man, Iliman Njai. Talk us through this one, mate.
We are the famous EFC, and we fight. That's what we're doing with David Moyes. He's got grey hair, and we don't care. David Moyes. Yeah, we're happy at the minute with Moyes. First game, I think Moyes just looked at Everton, and he didn't do much, which had me a little bit worried. He played some of the crapper players, and he just observed. And I was like, I hope you do more than that. The second game, we played a crap team, Spurs, and we beat them. And then, can we back that up? That's the question, because it's all right going and beating Spurs, but you don't feel your new manager's finding consistency until you back it up. And we played Brighton, and I'm not going to lie, Brighton probably patches was better than us, but we got the first goal and we defended it out really well. And that's the good thing about Everton at the minute. We've always had a good defence. We've had a good defence, but we haven't been able to attack with Sean Dyche because he doesn't even want to attack that man, don't he? He's in Jurassic Park. But Dyche, I'm not even joking, right? With Dyche, it was like, our defender gets it, long ball. Our defender gets it, long ball. And I'm thinking, I can pass the ball, so why can't these Everton players pass the ball? And it was starting to really get me angry because Dyche didn't even try and get the players to pass much. And David Moyes he's got us moving it about, not all the time, but just a bit more when we can. And credit to David Moyes because he gets like a name of a dinosaur manager and stuff like that. But the difference in David Moyes and Sean Dyche is incredible. And those West Ham fans that wanted Moyes gone, I've watched West Ham a couple of times, and sometimes the grass ain't always greener, you know. David Moyes got really good things out of a West Ham team that are clearly struggling without him. It's shown that he got the best out of the players. But Njai, fantastic. He is Skillyman Njai, we call him now. He's a Senegalese sensation. Cracking goal. He did the same against you. And I always say it on our channel, Spurs play. He reminds me of like Berbatov because do you know where a player, when you watch him, it's like slow motion. It's like that with Njai. He slows the game down because he's so good at football. Even when it comes to finishing, he doesn't rush. He slows down. But it was a penalty. But even his penalty was a no look. That shows how good he was. Branthwaite's really good now. Tarkowski's really good. The bad thing about this game is obviously beating Brighton, who I think are a really good team. To me, they're like the players they've got. They're a top 5 team. They really are because they've spent that much. You look how much they spent and how much we spent, and we've managed to beat them. It says it all. But the downfall is Mangala, who we've got on loan, who's been terrific, a starting 11 all the time, has done his knee and he's out now. we're looking on sending him back to Lyon. We've got no loans to get an extra loan. So Mangala's done. He could even go back to Lyon, and we really wanted him this season. So that's gutting. That come out of that game. And Calvert-Lewin as well, he's pulled a muscle and he's got to have surgery by the looks of it as well. He's out, so we're only left with Beto as a striker. So as much as this performance was sexy, and I loved it, and we're 2 in a row, and I'm starting to think top 4.
The old Everton's back.
Yeah, Everton are back, baby. We're back.
I mean,
now I'm really excited, but your injuries,
Yeah,
as you know, as a Spurs fan, it's not nice, is it? It can deflate you on a win.
I did see a report this week that apparently you're meant to be sending Brozier back to Chelsea, and you're trying to get someone else to replace him from them.
Well, Brozier, Chelsea won't. Chelsea are playing hardball. Chelsea have got 1 million players, and they're looking to loan players, but they've got a deal where they're not just going to let us send Brozier back, because they've said we want you to pay all of his wages if you send him back, which they've got the right to do, haven't they? Because they're thinking where we're trying to get Joesph Hall, who was in talks. It was either Joesph Hall or the left back. If we was trying to get one of those players, we would send Brozier back and we'd get that player. Where Chelsea probably want to keep us paying Brozier's wage, and then they can still loan Joesph Hall out. Do you know what I mean? They can still loan the other players out. They want to get the best out of everything. So Chelsea are going to look after themselves, ain't they? So I think the only way, because we've not got a big budget financially. I think we have got a budget. We will spend about 20-30 million, I think. But we need probably three players, 3 attacking players. So we've got to be sensible, which we are now, not like in the past. But I personally think they're more looking on sending Mangala back to Lyon with the loan and getting a loan with that than the Brozier, because I don't think Chelsea will do it. If they do, then I'm happy. But we just Beto, who I don't mind Beto, but one striker is very dangerous, isn't it? I mean, look at you, Solanke. Beto gets injured now. We're playing attacking midfielders up front, which works for Bournemouth, but I don't think it would for us.
We've got a £60 million player. If you've got that 60 million sitting on the bench, in Richarlison.
I would love him, mate. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would love him, but I do think that you started him and he scored. I don't think Richarlison. I mean, we'll come to the game, so I'm not going to say much on this game because we're going to talk about it. But Richarlison has been.
It's just fitness.
I know it'll piss Spurs fans off because I wouldn't personally like someone loving another club that much, still having that attachment. You know what I mean? One true love Everton, but when he has played for Spurs, I think he's been decent. I know he's been injured a lot, but
it is just purely fitness with him. And he's a bit of a twat at times, to be honest. But I don't think there's much more else we can cover on this game. So,
well, I think one thing, if I could quickly mention,
go for it, Joe.
Just with him under David Moyes now, I think one thing I noticed with Sean Dyche is like you were so scared at every single game you played. It's like you were scared to go and win a game. You just you never had any belief that you could beat a team. And now David Moyes coming, you've now you know what, we're not that bad. Like, we can go and win games. Yeah. It's such 100%. A good thing to see for Everton, because I've got a soft spot for Everton as well. My mum's from Liverpool and her dad supported Everton. And so I've got a little soft spot for Everton as well. And there's no reason that they should be in the situation they're in. And it's good to see a manager that actually believes in his team a bit more.
You know what? You know your football. You're bang on, because we've been saying on my channel after every game, me and Paul, the guy I do it with, fear of failure, and it's exactly what you've just said. Fear of failure, like we're scared to do anything, and everything was safe, and like you just said, we were scared to attack, and so much fear of failure that it made us a team that was a failure. And now under David Moyes, it's just a new lease of life where it's just like, you are professional footballers. Have a go. Try and pass the ball. Left back and right back, Mikalenko, and he's the big thing. And I didn't say this. I probably should have said it. Dyche peed me off not playing Jake O'Brien, because Jake O'Brien, when I signed him, I was so excited. Even though he's a centre back, I knew he could play right back. He's a beast. And when we played Bournemouth, when we was 2-0 up and they come back and beat us 3-2. If Dyche would have put Jake O'Brien on, they wouldn't have done to us what they did. And we probably would have seen that game out. David Moyes has come in straight away. Dyche always said, Jake O'Brien's got no Premier League experience. You can't get Premier League experience without giving him Premier League experience. David Moyes has come in and said, Jake O'Brien looked good in the cup game. I'm playing him. I want to play him centre-back, but Tarkowski and Braithwaite's good. I'm going to try him right-back because I know he's that good. He's got to be in the squad. He's been one of our best players the last 2 games, and no one beats him down that side now. So David Moyes, he's ticking things straight away and doing what Sean Dyche couldn't do all season. Dyche did our heads in with player selection. And,
he's at least
David
come
Moyes is
in.
getting it right.
He's definitely come in and stabilised you guys, which is probably
Yes. I'm a happy man.
Which is probably what another team, which our next game will be about. Obviously, Newcastle had their bounce back after losing to Bournemouth the preceding weekend, whereas Southampton once again are on the end of another 2-goal deficit for this one. So, Barney, I'll come to you and then I'll come to Craig on it
Let's go for it.
afterwards. Obviously, Newcastle got their bounce back, which was very good. We all enjoy watching them as well. I know if we had John on here, I'm sure he'd be jumping up and down, as always, like a jack in the box about seeing them win. So can you give me the lowdown on this one, mate, compared to seeing Southampton get killed again?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do feel sorry for Southampton now. I think we can all agree on that. They're just I know you won't, mate. Exactly.
I'm loving every moment of it.
Oh, I know you are. I'm still reading from our 0-0 draw. Only Fulham give teams gifts. But, Southampton are one of these teams where they had that little manager bounce, didn't they? And they showed glimpses of what could change when the manager came in, but they kind of reverted back to this championship style, which they seem to sort of, as a mentality issue, this is my opinion, you could disagree, but they reverted to that championship kind of style of play, which they had last season, and it's just not working in the Premier League. And when you've got Isak on fire, who's scoring goals for fun, Southampton, obviously they took Man United close at Old Trafford, but who doesn't there? Newcastle just were on all cylinders. I watched the highlights back as I did most of the games. I really enjoy watching Newcastle myself. And I'm sure John would be saying a few things as well. They got the players to hurt you, and likes of Gordon, Murphy on the assists. But Southampton, even though they scored, they look lackluster, Kallum. And I know you guys might not agree, but I just don't see a way back for them at this stage. They battle a bit, and in the game I saw when we played them in December, they had the chances, but there's just 0 goal threat there. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I know Dan was would have been happy for Sulemana to go to Everton if you got the chance, but I don't really even see him doing it for Southampton, so that would probably be more of a detriment to Everton.
But I do think sometimes like a whole team can affect a player, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
Good players. Sometimes we look at it and think, "Oh, Southampton are crap, so all the players are crap." It doesn't often work like that, There's sometimes good players. When you move them away from the team and put them in another team, they can be decent. It's going to be interesting to see whether they keep the attacking player. What's his name? Is it Diblin or someone like that? That a lot of teams are looking at. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. If he don't stay, I think, like if they do sell him, I think that's Southampton. I think they might be gone anyway, but I think that's a white flag for him because he's the best player by a mile.
By country mile, yeah.
I mean, Craig, I'll bring you in to it. I know, obviously, you've got such a soft spot for Southampton down on the South Coast.
Yeah, he has got a Southampton kit behind him, if you can see it.
Obviously, this is just becoming a joke, isn't it, for Southampton week in, week out now? We're having the same conversations. They're going to go down. How badly are they going to go down? Are they going to get the Derby County record? I think that they're not far off of it now, are they, to say the least, in terms of relegation. So how bad can this actually get this season?
Mate, I think they are absolutely appalling. I don't blame their new manager, actually. Russell Martin, when he was there, there was games that they weren't even getting a shot on target. And if you don't get a shot on target against teams, then you're not going to win football matches. And they're not good enough to defend. Of course, Rambo, wasn't in goal. He's injured. So Alex McCarthy's back in goal for them now.
He's shocking. He's shit. He's awful.
Well, he's not as bad as their third choice goalkeeper, who's on the bench, Joe Lumley, who might as well dress up as Ronald McDonald because he is that crap.
Do you know what does my head in like really bad when I've been on this channel a couple of times now, and we talk about Southampton and Callum's like, oh, the shit, they're down, and obviously you've just said the crap. We got Sean Dyche got beat by these in the league, and they knocked us out the cup this season as well. And I'm listening to you like they can't score, they can't have a shot on target, and I'm thinking in my head, I remember that game where they beat us and they knocked us out of the cup this season. So
only Everton could do that.
But remember that.
I think Southampton are a really good team, by the way, a really good team.
That was under Dyche. That was the old times, wasn't it? That was a Dyche time. This is a good time going forward for you guys.
Yeah, new relationship.
Adam Armstrong can't score in a brothel. I think personally he's crap. Jan Bednarak, well done for his goal. He opened the scoring. Everybody was fucking shocked. Within Dean Court, I think there was a couple of people fainting. We was a little bit worried, but they were all right. They were just watching, working out after 10 minutes.
He's a fucking defender and he's the only one scoring for him, yet he can't defend to save his fucking life. So how does that work?
I know. They've even gone to the point of giving old man Lallana a game, which I quite like. Adam Lallana, he's a good professional, but let's be fair, his best days are beyond him. And some fat snake called Ryan Fraser come on the pitch as well, who decided, of course, the man that threw Eddie Howe under the bus. So if you are, reaching to those depths, then you have a serious problem. Southampton, I tell you what, this is how I could probably, weigh up Southampton. When you go on Facebook and you're scrolling through and, so-and-so looks very different. Oh, looks a lot better. And then, one day you're at a party and they turn up and it's like you've met fucking Cruella de Vil. Somebody.
Have you still got to play Southampton?
Yes.
I'll laugh if they beat you and Fraser scores. I'm cropping this stuff.
Mate,
I still remember this conversation.
Mate, it's not gonna. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. In fact, the way we are playing, I think we should just try and get 3-0 up, which should probably take about 10 minutes. And if Fraser is on the pitch, when we got the ball up their end, we should just try and cannon the ball off his fucking arse as hard as fucking possible into the back of the net.
That scoreline: Forest, Bournemouth 5-0, Southampton 5, Bournemouth 0. And I tell you something, I am in your DMs straight away. I love it,
mate.
I'll be messaging as well.
That's a game in my head. I am never been behind Southampton before, but in my head now, as much as I love Craig, after all that, come on, Southampton against
to be fair, Spurs have still got to play them at White Hart Lane. This is going to be the only game we win in the Premier League for the rest of the season.
Hold on. Are they going to get Derby's record? Was the other question. They might actually beat it because they're definitely going to fucking win that one.
I was going to say, they're going to beat Bournemouth, so they're going to beat Spurs. There you go.
Southampton are the only team in the whole league that I don't think can finish above Spurs. That's how bad Southampton are this year.
Fucking Ipswich, Wolves, Leicester,
all of them, they could finish above. They could do it. Southampton, just no chance. There's zero chance. And you never know. I might be wrong, but they are so bad. They're so bad. I don't remember a team as bad as Southampton in the Premier.
Derby County. That would be Derby County, wouldn't it? And
I don't know how old I was when that was happened. Oh, what year was that?
That was that 2008, 2009?
Yeah, they
were. Chris told me it's 2008.
Yeah. They were shocking. They shouldn't have come up.
And yet Spurs still had a shit season then. It's only that we won the Cap 1 Cup that fucking survived. So, I mean, we were wank that year anyway, so it didn't really make any difference.
Do you know what? The only funny thing about Southampton getting promoted as well, this is because we fucking hate Leeds. Leeds are just scum. Scum. Absolute scum. of course, Southampton beat fucking Leeds in that
the
playoff final. And let's be honest, Leeds would have done a better job.
Oh,
That
100% they would have done a better
That
job.
playoff final was fucking wank. I sat
It
watching
was,
that with
yeah.
my mate who's a Southampton fan. It was crap. They was awful. And I mean, they
Yeah, it
bought
was a bad
Flynn
one.
Down. Flynn, I don't understand. Well, I can see it now. Flynn Downs is a championship player, absolutely best player for them last season. Come up this year, he's shit. He is absolutely awful, and he does nothing. And why they let so many players go, and then they have these awful ones that they've bought in that they've probably scouted from a Google Maps page and all that is ridiculous. It's just horrendous. But
Tyler Dibling's their only saving grace in it, and
yeah,
he'll be leaving. Either either the last couple of days of this window, he'll go in the summer no matter what. So.
It'll be really, really interesting to see if he does leave, which I think they'll get a good fee for. Will they just say they're relegated and spend the money, or will they just bank the money? I could see them just not spending the money, and that'd be frustrating.
I think they're already content knowing they're getting relegated. I don't think they really have any belief that they're staying up.
If anything, that Dibbling money will have to balance out the money that they'll lose by getting relegated from the Premier League. Because obviously they'll have to. You get that promotion bonus, don't you?
I think you do get like a parachute payment though, don't you? As well, I think they give you a bit of money.
If you go straight back down though, you have to pay a lot of that back and all that. I think the terms of it are so they'll probably end up having to balance the books and rebuild something because the Saints fans will probably burn down a stand or a fucking training ground. It's like 2 relegations in 3 years. I mean, it's like how the Norwich fans are at Carrow Road.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they're in the playoff final next year, I will do something that I don't tend to do. And when the missus turns around and says, do you fancy going around Primark? I'll go, yeah, absolutely. Fucking love it. Absolutely. Take me there. Yes, I'll pay. Here's my fucking card. And yeah, we'll have a great time around Primark.
I wouldn't like suggest to pay in Primark anymore. It costs a bomb. Even Primark's expensive.
Yeah, I was
to be honest, I haven't walked in there.
Well, yeah, you was probably dragged in there instead, Craig.
Yeah, I was.
You'd passed out by the door. She was dragging you by a shoe. All right. Joesph, let's go on to mine and yours favourite team in them lot who decided to shack up in North London when they're not meant to be there.
Exactly. North London forever and that.
Yeah, all that bollocks. So Arsenal 1, Wolves 0. I mean, I'm not going to lie. This was a shit show of a game. 2 red cards, poor play across the board, and if anything, I mean, 1 red card's been appealed in the Miles Skelly one. I thought it should have stood, to be honest, but it just shows the PMGOL actually backing Arsenal, even though all their fans say they don't get nothing from it. Talk me through this shit show of a game.
Well, I thought, in the first half, I think Wolves actually had a couple of decent chances, as did Arsenal. Obviously, Kai Havertz missing a good chance again, and I can't remember who had the Wolves shot in the first half, but I think it was Sarabia, but he hit it over the bar, and that was a really good chance for Wolves to get ahead. But obviously, the main talking points are the refereeing decisions. I'll be honest, I don't think it was a red card personally. I think it was a cynical foul. It was a yellow card. He knew what he was doing. I can see why the referee gave it in real time, kind of the studs going down. But I don't think it was intentional in any sense. I don't think there was really any malice in it or anything like that. So I don't think it should have been a red card. I think the thing that just frustrates me more is it's feeding into this narrative of Arsenal fans where they think everything is a conspiracy and that the league's against them and don't want them to win, which I'm just fed up with. It's just this victim energy that they, all of this goes against them when it's just like, no, you just can't go over the line. You can't win a trophy. It's not because of the refs. It's because of you. But yeah, I do think it was the wrong decision. And I do think, but they carried on going, and then Wolves stupidly, or João Gomez stupidly got a second yellow card and even that game up when Wolves were really looking like they could have gone on and won it. I mean, the challenge from him could have been a straight red card, to be honest, on its own, and it was his second yellow anyway. So I mean, evened it up, and then Arsenal obviously went on to win it with a Calafiori finish, which was quite a nice finish into the far corner. So yeah, I mean, Arsenal again kind of showing a bit of grit and determination to get over the line. And to be fair, that's what they need. When they're kind of having a couple of injuries, they're not doing not performing the best, they're still getting over the line and getting a win, which is exactly what they want to do. And, if they want to stay within this title race with Liverpool, they've just got to carry on matching their results and eventually bettering them. But, getting that 3 points was big for them because, once you kind of get that, once you actually get that, that red card, the game's, out of your favour and you've got to grind a result. And that's exactly what they did.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. And Barney, if I can bring you in on this one, mate. Obviously, Wolves are very much a bit like Southampton. They have a bit of a bounce. Then, well, obviously Southampton had their bounce against Everton, but anyone can have that on their day.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly, mate. Wolves fans, they're putting the pressure on their owner, aren't they? I mean, I heard all the kind of, anger at full time. Wolves have got a good squad, and I'm surprised to sort of see them down there, but it was a largely forgettable game. I watched the highlights back, and the only talking point really was the red card, which I don't think was a red card in my opinion. I think, I know it was studs up, but I don't think the aggression was there. Booking, definitely yes. Foul, yes. But no, it wasn't a red for me. But Arsenal clinical, they got the job done. Change at the end, shuffle things around, and was the deciding factor. And when you're a side challenging for the top four as Arsenal, well, we all love Arsenal, don't we? When they're a side at the top there, you've got to take your chances. Wolves are not a bad side. I still think they're in a fourth position. I think they'll be fine. I honestly do. I think they're too good to go down. Way too good to go down. But Arsenal will be pleased with that. But largely, from what I saw anyway, the 2 red cards, not a game for the neutrals, for certain.
No, I think I was listening to it on the radio and it was about as boring as watching paint dry. I'm not going to lie. So let's jump.
I can't believe that I can't believe they fell for the trap though. Like, you just don't get a red card when another team's got a red card. You know what I mean? And in my head, I thought to myself, the only way that Arsenal can probably win this is if the playing field is levelled, and Wolves fell for the trap. And I know you say, it wasn't a yellow card, but you've got to be more precautious, haven't you? Because Wolves, the ball was in their court because they had the extra man, and they gave Arsenal 10 against 10, which is just stupid in my opinion. I'm fuming. I'd be fuming if that was us that did that.
No, exactly.
The challenge from him could have been a straight red. It was a really, really poor challenge from Miguel Gomez. Yeah. And it was 100% a second yellow. There was no complaints. And I don't think he had any complaints when he did it. It's just idiotic because you're in a position and they're desperate for points, Wolves. They need these wins. And such a big win against Arsenal would be massive for them. And they were in the ascendancy in that second half. They did look like they could go on and win it. And the challenge just completely evens up the game again. And Arsenal were dominating before in the first half. They're going to carry on dominating afterwards. So that's how it goes.
Exactly. Right, let's jump on to a game that actually really did shock me. Obviously, not a good start for their new centre-back in Kusanov. I mean, that poor bastard looked like he wanted to get straight back on the plane and go back to France. I'm not going to lie. He didn't have a good game. He didn't look comfortable. And was it Palmer or was it Palmer or Madueke?
Madueke scored the first one.
Madueke, so he skinned him, and then obviously Chelsea seemed to shut up shop, and City did run riot, but he never looked comfortable on this one. So obviously, I'll give this one to Dan and Craig because I know we was on this last week, and we obviously said that this game could go either way, didn't we? So I mean, who wants to come in on it first, boys?
I'll jump on it first. Pep moves on fast, doesn't he? Because obviously marriage has ended and now he's with Cole Palmer at the end of the game, all lovey-dovey. And if I was one of the Chelsea fans, I hate to say this, it rattles me. I wouldn't be talking to the opposition manager, even if he was my ex-manager. One of my players, Palmer, with Pep, all happy. I'd be fuming. I don't want my players to talk to the opposition if we win. And Palmer was shocking, He was crap. And Pep going up to him and owned him. And Pep would not have gone up to Palmer, by the way, if he would have lost. He's only gone up to him because he knows he was crap and he's giving him tips and stuff like that and he's happy. He wouldn't have gone up to him otherwise. Palmer, I'd be fuming. I'd have a bad game. I'd be fuming because you want to prove yourself against your old club. And that was a big game for Palmer to say, you should not have got rid of me. And if I was a Chelsea fan, that's a game where you expect a player to step up against his past team. And Palmer was just non-existent. He didn't even have a shot on target or anything, Palmer. And he's he's normally their main player. I expected him to turn up. So many of the Chelsea players ghosted the game. And if I was a Chelsea, well, I know because I was on a couple of Chelsea spaces after, and they was fuming. They didn't turn up against Manchester City. They really didn't. And you had the Manchester City centre-back, new kid. Chelsea, he looked very fragile. You've seen it all in the media that he couldn't speak English and he looked like he was going to get sent off straight away. It was a game that Chelsea had a big chance and didn't turn up. And the Chelsea fans that I know, they're like, see, this is exactly why we've been telling you when you said we've got a chance of winning the league. We haven't, because we know they're capable of this. And that's what happened.
No, exactly. And Craig, if I can come over to
The
you...
goalkeeper, though, and last thing, the goalkeeper, I called him Mr. Bean on this show.
Sanchez
and he's proven
shit.
it.
He's awful. He's crap.
I said it. I called it out. I did say it. I said on this show twice now, I said, that goalkeeper is Mr. Bean's brother or Mr. Bean in disguise. And I can't believe with all the money that Chelsea's... He's just clumsy, isn't he? All the money that they've spent, that they haven't sorted that goalkeeper out because Haaland, he made Haaland... He put Haaland in a position where there was only one thing he could do. And he just gave Haaland the goal.
They've probably spent nearly 400 million on goalkeepers.
Exactly.
They've got Kepa, they've got... who's the other one? They've got Jorgensen, they've got Sanchez, they've got all of them, and not one of them is in...
I am really surprised, and I don't want this to ever happen because I'm in love with this person, by the way. I am very surprised that when they splashed all that cash, they didn't go in for someone like Jordan Pickford. And I know a lot of people don't like Jordan Pickford, but if they had Jordan Pickford in goals this season, they would have had a chance to win the title 100%, in my opinion.
Yeah. Agree with that 100%.
There's definitely enough goalkeepers out there that are better than the ones they've got, apart from maybe Amadou Onana at Man United, who is literally Mr. Bean version 2.0. But
yeah,
Craig,
good point.
If I come over to you, I mean, one player who I was quite impressed with City was Umar Mamouche as well. I thought he actually looked quite good on his debut for them. I know he got a goal ruled offside, I believe, but he actually looked quite decent as a backup option or someone who could play with Haaland.
Yeah, I think they needed to really revitalise it, and I think he's come in and he's done that. He does look a threat. Haaland needed somebody else to link up. Of course, De Bruyne was on the bench, so I think the relationship there looks promising from Manchester City. Of course, De Bruyne did come on for Mamouche a little bit later on. And we know what those two can do on their day, but they haven't had their day really as much this season. Just going on to Chelsea, we've actually got their best bloody goalkeeper here. In Kepa. I think Kepa. I think there must be some sort of problem. They must give them a different type of water, the goalkeepers, and it must be shitty. Because to be honest, Sanchez is a absolute clown. He's an absolute clown. And I think Chelsea, I thought they were probably going to run out of steam a little bit. We saw that when we played them recently. I don't think they were at full pelt. But then again, I think we deserved 3 points against Chelsea. And I think they probably are. They're not in the same league as Man City, on their day. Let's be honest, Man City haven't been on their day for a lot of this season. They're not in the same league as Liverpool. They're probably in the same on par with us at this moment in time, Chelsea, which is a great thing for us. But at the same time, they were gifted that first goal. Chelsea were gifted that goal. But yeah, that last one, as you say, Dan, Sanchez, I just don't know what they're teaching him on the training grounds, but in a way, it's quite funny as well. It's Chelsea after all, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but Dan needs Chelsea to keep going and Arsenal to keep going to stop Liverpool from winning the league.
No. Honestly, sorry, I'll draw the line here. I have actually got a bet with Harry Redknapp, and this bet is over a bottle of wine. I am, I'm definitely sure that I do want to. I said Newcastle would finish above Chelsea, and I want that premium bottle of wine. Whereas Harry, I'm pretty sure doesn't want a little wine fucking bottle of red.
Love it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Right. Comment from David Clark just in saying that Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Ollie Watkins. Doesn't mean that the team will sell him. Strange situation. So I think it's only fair to bring Aston Villa, West Ham into this one because at the moment Aston Villa are winning, but they've had one bid agreed for John Duran to go to Saudi for over 70 million, which is ridiculous. It looks like the Saudi market's kicking back up again. And if Ollie Watkins has agreed terms, I don't think they're going to let both of them go. So, Joesph, if I can come over to you on this one, I kind of expected more from this game. I'm not going to lie. I thought Aston Villa would do something special here because, I mean, even under Graham Potter, West Ham haven't really changed what's going on in terms of in terms of what Lopetegui had. So I think it needs a bit of an improvement. Talk me through this one, please, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much a game of two halves, really. I think Villa kind of, controlled the game in the first half. They created a lot of chances. They just couldn't seem to really take them all. But West Ham came back in that second half and they looked good. They created chances. I think towards the end of the game, they looked like the team that were going to go on to win it. And I think you got to give credit to West Ham. I mean, they went there in the cup, didn't they, and lost just about. But it was that was a close game as well. It wasn't like Villa kind of ran away with that game. That was Graham Potter's first one in charge. So, yeah, you know what? I do think Graham Potter's going to do well at West Ham. But yeah, I mean, the big thing is obviously those transfers. To be honest, I think that's what's even more vital when you look at Villa right now. I mean, it looks like Arsenal want Watkins, and obviously it looks like John Duran might go to Saudi, which is such a shame, to be honest, because he has got maybe a really, has a promising career ahead of him. And he's already going off to the Saudi League. So it's a shame, really, because you could have seen him be, a mainstay in the Premier League in top 5 European leagues for a while. But we'll see. It looks like that one will go through. And I think Villa will be keeping a hold of Watkins. But if it was me, I'd be looking to sell Watkins and keeping Duran. If I'm Villa, I think they could grow with Duran and Watkins, obviously 29, maybe it might be the one you look to let go of. But yeah, I think again, just about the game, Villa are a bit inconsistent, a bit. Sometimes they play some really good football. Other times they really, they've had some really poor games. A bit like Brighton this year, just very inconsistent with how they play. Not, just not enough consistency up front or in defence. Villa rarely keep a clean sheet. So it's always a chance that West Ham could come back in that game.
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. Barney, if I can just bring you in, I mean, obviously West Ham are still there or thereabouts. Another team that are above Spurs in the table, which is still
no comment
on my mind all the time. But I mean, do you see West Ham doing well under Graham Potter, or do you think that it's a lot still to go to rebuild?
Oh, 100%, mate. I think they're a good fit. I think West Ham will finish in a decent position, sort of mid-table, right about there. But they, going back to this game, they came from behind to earn a really hard-fought draw against West Ham. Jacob Ramsey. It was a lovely move with Ollie Watkins to set up, the goal. I watched a match today and it was pretty decent. But Villa, I feel are fatigued a little bit from this is my opinion. But when you're involved in European contention, I spoke to Harry about this actually before the season started. We did our predictions, and I said to him, Villa, I think will suffer because they're involved in the European competitions, and I don't think they necessarily have the players to sort of mount both. And I said, I think they're not going to do as well. They could be doing better, but Emerson, great goal, but there wasn't really much to say about this game, and it could have gone either way a bit towards the end. But I think it's a good point for West Ham, certainly, Kallum. And I think Graham Potter. I like him. I always have.
No, I just want to keep it with you, Barney. I read something the other day where it said that of all the players that Aston Villa signed in the summer, I think it's only it's only one that's played more than 3 games for them properly. Is there some issue with their transfer dealings under, is it Monchi that they've got and
I
Emre
think it
in
is.
charge?
Emery. I think it is. It's one of these kind of weird things where someone makes the decisions, isn't it? I mean, we had that for years at Fulham. We had sort of before Marco decided, I want to make decisions, have someone above him sort of making decisions on transfers. But when you've got a squad that big, does the manager really know his, ideal 11? And when you're chopping and changing the team all the time, it just creates unrest, in my opinion, and you're never going to have a flow. And if a manager doesn't know his team, what the player's going to think.
Exactly. And I mean, they're going after someone who we have been slaughtering at Chelsea. I think, is it, Craig, you probably know more. Is it Disassi that they're trying to get or something like that from Chelsea to go to Villa?
They're after him and
Yeah.
João Felix, aren't they?
Oh, fucking hell. Talk
Yeah.
about buying crap.
No, I actually don't mind Felix, and I know a lot of people slate him and stuff, but I think he's not too bad.
What about the defender? What about the defender, Dan?
It's interesting with. I actually watched the full 90 of this game. Obviously, I'll give 10 seconds on this, but because the other two talking on it, but Villa they started good, and they should. It was a game you're watching and you think, right, these are going to batter West Ham. West Ham was playing Kudus up top. West Ham didn't look like they could find a goal, and really Villa should have battered them, but Villa keep doing that. They're doing it now, as you've just put in the comments. They've let the crap second half. They're good competition for Spurs on the bad second half because West Ham, by the way, was not good. I don't think they was that good, and they was just putting balls in the box, got a knockdown and got a chance. But Villa, they was poor, and it's going to be really interesting to see the activity here because they're not going to. If they get rid of the 2 strikers, you'd think they've got a lot of business lined up.
I think only one will go.
Strength, yeah.
Only one will go. They won't.
I would personally love Duran. I would love him. I'm with you. I can't believe he doesn't start. But Watkins is a good. But for me, because Duran's a big centre forward, there's a way of playing Watkins on the wing or a way of playing a front 3 with Duran and Watkins and someone behind him. Do you know what I mean? As an attacking 3, you've got to use Duran when he's banging goals in top corner. And the thing is, Duran smashes goals in like that, feels on cloud 9 where he can probably have 10 good games with that sort of confidence. They put him on the bench. You lose the confidence. And he needs to go to a team that's going to say, he reminds me a bit like Lukaku a little bit. When we had him, he looks like he can just smash goals in. I'm gutted we ain't got 60 million to get him. But I do believe it's a shame if he goes to Saudi because I'd like to see him stay in the Premier League.
Do you know the other thing as well about John Duran? He feels like a Premier League striker. Like the goals watch him score, it reminds me of like those glory years of watching just all those strikers, Suarez. Like he feels like a Premier League player. Now football's been so desensitized into this tiki-taka, end up tapping the ball in. He's just there, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking lever it and put it top corner. It's so nice to see that because you don't see it from football that much.
Excites you. It does exactly. Like an off your seat type of player, someone that you think could score from the halfway line. Where now in football, players they're scared to shoot from the halfway line, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think Villa. I think they will. They're in that situation now. They're in that zone where, if they don't get further in the Champions League, they're not going to be able to keep their squad. I think they're going to probably finish. If they get Europa Conference League this year, it might be. It would be just about. I think this is the biggest problem with the Champions League or the Europa League, and especially for smaller clubs, like us and Spurs. It's always going to take a little bit of a knock. So, I think Villa's in that zone as well, and I think that's what their biggest danger is, that they are going to possibly lose Duran, Ollie Watkins, and of course, Celtic. I don't know when it happened. It's only. The first half's only just finished, and Celtic have come straight back into that. So, your future manager is doing all right, Kallum.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Well, as
all
we
right,
are
no
talking
problem.
about the Champions League, obviously City at the moment are going out. They are 1-0 down to Club Brugge. Liverpool are 3-2 down to PSV at present. Villa, as we know, are drawing. I can get some other results up if I believe Arsenal were losing last.
They're winning
Oh no,
now,
they're winning
3-1.
now. So they're winning. Any other English teams or British teams in there?
No, it's just those four, I think.
You know what?
Was you,
though?
was
I'm
you, was you
laughing.
surprised on the? Was you surprised?
That's all right.
Is Watkins the right fit for Arsenal? Because everyone's like, yeah, he's the answer to the problems that puts them in the title race, and he's not a striker that I, in my head, think that Arsenal
Not
needed.
for
I was
Arsenal.
thinking more like a
No.
Tony or the one that used to play for Napoli. What's his name?
Osimhen. I think they
Yeah.
need an
Yeah,
out. They need an out.
Osimhen.
I think
You
they
know,
need an out and out forward, don't they? Not a utility forward like Watkins.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to my mate earlier about this because we were having this chat in our group chat, and he's an Arsenal fan. He's saying he doesn't want him, and I was just sitting there going, all right now it's either you or Liverpool who are going to win the league. Your only position you desperately need is a striker, and you could possibly win the league this year. If Liverpool get a couple of injuries, we don't know how they're going to deal with it. This is probably Arsenal's best chance to go and win the league. I mean, next year City could be back, other teams could come into the frame. It's not to say that Arsenal are going to keep on getting further away from these teams. These teams can catch them up, and it's just like what you've got in Watkins. Yeah, maybe he's not the perfect striker, but he's an established striker, probably the third best in the Premier League, behind maybe Isaac and Haaland. It just makes, to me, for 60, 70 million, yeah, he's 29, but he's an experienced head that you know is going to score you goals. It makes sense to me right now. If they want to try and win the league and they can get him in the last couple of days of the window, I'd just do it because it's so hard to find an established Premier League striker that you're going to guarantee goals. They could go get Gyökeres in the summer. There's nothing to say he's going to come in and hit the ground running. So to me, it makes sense. But I understand what people say. Maybe it's not the finisher that they need. But then again, they like kind of linking up with the wingers, and I think Watkins could do that. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I just think Watkins is too similar to Gabriel Jesus, one of them players who's not good at one position. He's good at a multitude, but he's not your out and out point man compared to if they do get Isak or something like that. I mean, that's a ridiculous bid that you'd have to pay for him. Say at least you're looking at 150, 200 million to cough that up. But that's definitely an interesting one for another time. So let's go
Just very quickly on the Champions League as well. I know that I'm laughing at Manchester City possibly going out of the Champions League. However, this isn't particularly a good thing for AFC Bournemouth because the coefficients rating will probably go down considering Manchester City are out of the Champions League. We want, to be honest, ideally we want all English sides to get far through the competition and get that fifth spot because the Spanish sides are doing it. All right, Girona have gone out, but of course, Man City have got probably a little bit more of a pull, and I think more of coefficients. Don't ask me how they sort it out, but the thing is it would take a big dent in England's tally and could scupper that fifth spot. Can you imagine Bournemouth missing out on the Champions League because of fucking Manchester City going out in the Champions League tonight?
You're completely right though, Craig, because realistically we need to have either Liverpool or it's going to be either Liverpool or Arsenal that we need to win the Champions League now.
Yeah.
We need, or Villa. We need to have Spurs or United win the Europa League. We need to have Chelsea win the Conference League. We need to have as many of these points to keep, because if coefficient is fifth Champions League spot, you then can have an extra Europa League spot. And I think Conference League will open up to 2 spots as well. So if we could have 9 teams in Europe, then, I mean, that would be cracking for us. But you are right. There's so many big teams out there now who are so much stronger than a lot of the other English teams that are playing.
We are top of the coefficients rating at the moment, but not by much. And the 2 countries behind us are Spain, Italy, and to be honest, Germany could probably leapfrog us tonight.
It's only because the amount of teams that we've got in the competitions at the moment. That's the only reason we're doing it. I mean, because we've still got to hope, because Spurs have to beat Elfsborg tomorrow to hope that we stay in the Europa League and not drop
Well,
into
just-
a knockout.
Yeah, just to go into the knockouts, isn't it? That's a big game.
Yeah, against a team named after elves. So, I mean, come on, it don't really help us, to be honest. But, right, let's jump on to the next one with that. Dan, you are a twat for that message that you've just put to me. I have to do it, though. Right. Right, Joesph, seeing as you're here tonight, you could take the brunt of it, mate. So I will let you have a sparring match with Dan on this one. So talk me
All right.
through Spurs' game plan, how it happened, how it didn't happen, and how we're sitting here with someone with a shit-eater grin on their face in the bottom corner at the moment.
Honestly, I was on the review podcast with Harry, and I was just so dejected. Like, I'm genuinely just like, I'm so lost at right now with Tottenham. I genuinely don't even know. The game itself, it was just shit. It was shit from start to finish. We players playing that were injured. Sarr coming off at half time. Richarlison coming off because he got a groin injury, which seems to have vanished apparently. I don't know what happened there, but players just playing that are completely unfit, that aren't ready. Just everything's going wrong at Tottenham. Everything is going wrong that can go wrong. I thought in the first half we were really poor. We couldn't really get anything going through the middle. I think it just helped that Leicester were as poor as us, and no one could really take a hold of the game. It was for the goal, it was a great cross by Porro and a good finish from Richarlison, a good header, and it was nice for him to get the goal. But it's bad when you're sitting there and you go 1-0 up against Leicester and you're not that confident that you're definitely going to go on and win the game. Like, that should never even be a thought crossing my mind, to be honest. But that's where we're at right now. We go into that second half, and how quickly they score their goals is just. I was so pissed off. Really poor, communication from the defenders and the keeper. Kinski kind of missing the rolling ball across the pit, across the box, and Vardy's just there to smash it in, and then points to the Premier League badge. He's such a wind up, but he loves it, doesn't he? He's there. He lives for it. So I didn't expect anything less from him. To be fair, I like it against other clubs, so I've got to take it when he does it against Spurs. And then the second goal pisses me off more, to be honest. And it's something I've noticed from us in just, since we've had Ange, really. The amount of space that we give the creative midfielder in between the defence and the midfield is shocking. Like, I've noticed it so much now. And you just saw when El Khanous picked up the ball, he moved with it for about 10 seconds, just running through the middle of the pitch, and no one was near him. The defence weren't stepping up. The midfield weren't tracking back. They were just, it was all like they were waiting for something to happen. And you wait for him to put the ball in the bottom corner, which, again, as much as Leicester are poor, and they've been really poor under Van Nistelrooy, it's like they're still professional footballers. Like, these players can put the ball in the net. It's what they do for a living. They get paid thousands to do it. Leicester might not be a great team, but they've got good footballers. And, every now and then someone is going to get the ball on the edge of the box. And if you give them enough space and enough freedom, they'll put it in, they'll stick it in the bottom corner. And then, from then on, for the rest of the game, they just kind of, played with the dark arts and just kept a low block, and Tottenham lacks any creativity in their team. They looked lost for ideas completely from that moment on, and we never looked like scoring. It could have gone on for another 90 minutes. We weren't going to score another goal with how Leicester were defending. So, really, really disappointing again. I think the only positives from the game I can take is the change for Spurs movement, or change for Tottenham movement, that, with the banners up in the stadium and the amount of fans chanting for Levy out. But other than that, it's just a shocking day again. And it's becoming too regular now. Like, I was kind of thinking before we went into this run of games, you've got Everton, you've got Leicester. These becoming relegation 6-pointers that we needed to get wins from, and we've lost them both. And I don't care how many injuries you've got, and no disrespect to you, Dan, but we should be beating Everton. We should be beating Leicester. I don't care where we are, the money we spend, just the club we are. We should be going there and getting these results with the team we've got. Even with the players we have on that pitch, they should be able to go get across the line in those games. And they weren't good enough. And again, we didn't deserve to win either of them. It's not like we were unlucky. We didn't deserve either wins. Mm-hmm. So, you've got to question the management. You've got to question the ownership. You've got to question the players. And just another really terrible day at the office. And it's becoming a problem now because we really are getting into this relegation battle.
Yeah. And Dan, if I can come to you,
well,
I want to give you. Oh, sorry, mate.
I was just going to say it's interesting because I watched Spurs in the cup when I think it was Maddison scored first, and you look decent. You was thinking, all right, it's going to be 1-2-3-0, easy game, and all of a sudden they completely dominated you. And what he's saying before me, you looked like you had no midfield. You just couldn't get out. Like in the centre, it looked like you had nothing. And it just looked like your whole midfield had gone. And you had no chance of passing the ball, putting passes together. And they was just piling on the pressure in the cup. And it was all over you. And you looked and you thought, what the heck has gone on here? You couldn't believe the crumble from Spurs.
Was this the game in the Europa League against Hoffenheim?
You just couldn't. But there was all over you, and you couldn't get out your own half. And even your players like Son and they couldn't keep the ball. They couldn't get the ball. And I just thought, oh my God, they're so bad. You couldn't string passes together whatsoever. And sometimes when a team's piling it on, you just need your three centre midfielders, put a few passes together, and then get you up the pitch, just gain you a bit of possession. And you couldn't. They were just putting it on you, turning everything over. And this game was exactly the same as well. And it's got to, by the way, you say the money that Spurs have spent, if you haven't got the players on that you spent, that doesn't come into it. But I also do think that it's tactical. It is tactical as well. Do you know what I mean? With the players that you've got,
100%.
I still feel, because like you said, when you played us, I feel you tactically got it wrong. When you've played Leicester, I think you've tactically got it wrong. And he is decent attacking, but he's got to get you better out of possession, I feel. He gets you attacking decent sometimes, but he's got to set you up better from the back so you can gain a bit of possession, have better possession. I do feel, and this is crazy because I thought this player was crap, you miss someone like Holberg. Was it Holberg that you had in the centre? Just a gritty player saying, you're not going to have it easy. You're not going to run through the middle. I always thought he was nothing special, but sometimes you just need that someone that's going to put the tackles in for you, not let a team run straight through the middle of you like he did. So I do think you miss someone like that looking at you because it's through the middle you're getting killed. Where you just need to get on the ball. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I get I 100% agree with you. I mean, when I talk about the investment and the money spent, I understand obviously, but the injuries are unfathomable. I've never seen an injury crisis like it, and I think yes, you do need to give Ange some leeway in that sense. But when I look at the investment, I'm also talking about 60 million on Richarlison. I'm talking about 40 million on Archie Gray. As much as I think he's a great player and I'm really looking forward to his future, 40 million on one player that's 18 and unproven in the Premier League, when you're also letting go of all your experience, like you said, with Højbjerg, with Skip and Lo Celso and all these players that left in the summer. We haven't gone and replaced the experience. We've just gone and bought a bunch of kids and Solanke. And
Spurs are normally really clever on business. I remember when you had that patch when you sold Bale, you went and got really cheap, good players that become really good. Eriksen, all those players. You brought like 10 players that ended up like, wow, Spurs have brought all these players. Dembele, you brought loads of good players with that Bale money. And when you spent the money this time, you've gone like 60 million on a player from Forest, Brennan Johnson, 60 million on Richarlison. I feel you could have done business a lot cheaper and had a better, bigger squad. Gyökeres left Coventry for what, 22 million? 22 million Coventry sold Gyökeres. You should have been at that moment in time having Hudson-Odoi. All these players that have gone cheap to Nottingham Forest have got Hudson-Odoi, Elanga. I don't get why Spurs wasn't all over these cheap players, and you could have had like really good players for 15 million, really good players. But instead, you've gone and spent 60 million, Solanke, 60 million, Brennan Johnson, 60 million, Richarlison. So I feel Spurs usually are good with the money because it's tight as shit. But this time it feels like you've spent your money so bad and your squad's thin, I feel, because you've spent big when you probably should have been a lot more. Your sporting director you've got to look at there, right, as well as your owner. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed in the recruitment, in some aspects. Some of them I've been impressed, like, getting Papasar.
Defenders, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, Papasar, Van der Ven, Doggy was a good buy, again, quite cheap when we got him. Bergvall looks like he could be a really promising player for the future, so he's a good one that we picked up. So we've made a couple good moves here and there, but again, we've left ourselves so short. Doggy is the only natural left back at the club. In the whole club, he's the only natural left back. I mean, you
Apart
could
from Davis, ain't it?
I might say you could argue Ben Davis, but in this system that we play, Ben Davis cannot play there. So we've just left ourselves so short in every department. You could say an attack, and again, I know the injuries are a big issue, and that we can't really. You could say again, some of that could be on Ange in terms of his style of play, and it leading to muscle injuries. Honestly, I could sit here and talk all day about the amount of issues there are at Tottenham. But again, the biggest issue is always going to be the ownership, just the lack of ambition and the lack of real. I know for some people it might be, a bit stupid. Might feel a bit stupid me saying this, but because we do spend money, but the way you spend
we spell it wrong.
Exactly, we spend it wrong.
If you got relegated, I mean, I said that you didn't spend money wise. I do think you've got on paper when you've got your strongest team. I think you've got a really good team on paper. It's like top six. I thought Maddison was a good signing, but obviously he's a bit lazy. But if he's got the right players behind him, he is a good sign. If you got relegated, this has probably got to be the best players that have ever gone down.
And if we get relegated, Levy will have a fire sale and all that. He will be laughing all the way to the bank and all that. He will literally sell it. And even though we get relegated, he'll still give himself a £7 million director's bonus for good business and all that. That's how.
The fact that you've had all these managers, Mourinho, who I think is a good manager, Conte, the Forest manager. I think it shows that there is bigger problems higher up. Do you know what I mean? The fact,
and again,
these managers.
We go and spend money, and again, it's how you spend it. And again, still relative to the top clubs, it's nowhere near. The wage budget that we have compared to the the top clubs that are challenging at the moment, it's not the same. In terms of the percentages, it's shocking. We're one of the lowest in terms of the revenue that we make compared to the money we go and spend, and it's just completely backwards. He's trying to turn the club into a franchise. He doesn't care about the football. He said it himself. He doesn't really care about the football. It's just about the money he can make, and it's such a shame when you're a fan, and we our season tickets the most in Europe. Okay, well, give us the best football in Europe. If we're going to spend the most, we expect to have the best, but we don't. We have a mediocre football club that don't win, that haven't won since 2008, and it's just so disappointing when you see everything around the club. There's so much potential. Tottenham realistically have the infrastructure in place, the fan base, the training ground, some quality players. I'm not sure on the manager, but in terms of everything around the club, we could be the most successful club in England for the next 10 years if we wanted to, if we were going to go and spend like that, but we don't. So we're never going to be.
What's your thoughts on the that obviously it was all over X and covering topics. What's your thought on the manager getting angry after the game? I think it was Kallum just above him shouting at the manager. And he was looking very... Was it you, Kallum?
Oh, it might have been. No, I was...
Sounded like your voice.
I was tucked up in bed with flu on Sunday, so definitely not me this time.
But, the
what
thing
do you think of his reaction?
Well, what do you want to say?
Oh, no, you carry on, Kallum. You carry on.
Well, in terms of his reaction, I think I can understand why he's frustrated, but I think he's got to take it on the chin, like the way that we're playing. And I am Angel. I don't personally think he's the right manager for Tottenham personally. I think two things can be wrong. I think the owner can be bad, and I think the manager can be tactically not really there with the Premier League. And the quality that's in it. His tactics worked at Celtic when he's the best team in the league and you can dominate every team you play. But when you're Tottenham and you're the 7th, 8th best team in the league, you're going to get found out by these teams. So again, with what you said before about the defensive structure and how it's not really looked at enough. And against you, we just gave you so much freedom to go and take your chances. It's not good enough. You've got to be more tactically nous than you are when you're playing in the Premier League. So there's you can point fingers in so many directions, and it's just such a shame to see Tottenham where they are, because there's no reason we should be here. But again, it all starts with Daniel
I did
Levy.
watch a few of the early Celtic games, and because Celtic are always on at 12 o'clock, I don't know why. But when he was Celtic manager, I noticed Celtic, they did well, but they conceded the first goal quite a lot when I watched them. It was
the aim is to
fragile at
outscore
the back.
The main idea is Angie's style is to outscore the other team, and it's just not helpful. But I think that my misery has been put through enough for the Tottenham game.
But I honestly, Kallum, I want to say this. I think personally, Iriola would be absolutely bonkers if he went to Spurs. I can understand Angie's frustration. And, Daniel Levy, it's a very, very good point you guys have made here. He don't fucking care about the football. The NFL, he cares about that because that's going straight in that pocket. He cares about that fucking Formula 7 or whatever that is, where kids can just race around the fucking track, because that's going in his pocket as well. Everything that is making fucking money but not investing in the football club, he absolutely adores. He's got fuck all interest in the football club. The football club is just part of it. And I do feel for Spurs fans, because, he is a disaster. Like I said, Mourinho's gone there. It was a failure because he sacked him 2 days beforehand. Conte's gone there, and he failed. Nuno Espirito Santo got 4 months, and of course he failed because Daniel Levy didn't give him enough time and was too tight with the purse strings. Angie's not back in now. The last manager, and tell me if I'm wrong in this, the last manager that was successful under Daniel Levy, despite, Daniel Levy being as tight as a duck's arse with him as well, is my friend Harry Redknapp.
Even that was a push, to be honest.
Yeah.
And he still got stitched up by Daniel Levy. I think,
I know.
Berbatov left, and we wanted 2 players to come in to balance the books. And I think, who was it we got? It was like Stephen Pienaar and someone else on loan.
Louis Saha, probably.
Yes, I think it was Louis Saha and all that. We got the bastard. How we ended up with that bastard on loan twice, I don't know who the hell was doing that deal, but I mean, that stitched us up big time.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I'll say, and then we'll move on, because I know we've been on Tottenham for a while, but I'm 23 years old, and there's been one trophy won in my lifetime, which was 2008. I was 7. I don't remember that game. I don't remember it in terms of when I was 7 years old and celebrating winning that trophy. And for the 8th richest club in the world, reportedly, not being able to get over the line and win another trophy is disgusting. And it just shows awful mismanagement from the top down. And, it's so poor. And, it's been, I think we've all Tottenham fans have mirrored the same feeling in terms of the transfer window and how we brought in one keeper. And that's all we've done when we've got this injury crisis. We're linked to a couple of players at the moment, like Matthias Tell from Bayern Munich, and I think even Visser from Brentford. I don't know if that one will happen. And maybe we'll get one of those in. But again, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. I think all Tottenham hopes right now is just to stay up. And hopefully we can, we can try and just forget about this season, maybe salvage it with a trophy. But
you're not far away from, you've got the building block there of a decent team. You know what I mean? I know you need to stay up because you are big. The way that manager's got you defending, and I joke about it, but it's scary. I think if you keep playing you can't get relegated and don't take it seriously, you can end up getting relegated. Leicester did that when we was in the relegation battle against them. Yeah, Leicester did it with Maddison and Tielemans and all that. They all thought, we can't get relegated. And sometimes when you're down there, you have to know you're down there and put that little bit of fight just to see games out and do what you've got to do around there. And if you end up in 100%. I feel Tottenham could be I don't know how you cope with a relegation battle. But then if you was to stay up, you have 6, 7 really good players that if you put the right players to them, you could end up being top 4 next season. That's the difference. So you're still in there. You're still in there, but it's scary
You've got
where
to
you are
start
at the
picking
minute.
up some results. Luckily, some players are
100%.
coming back. But yeah, we'll move
So,
on now. It's enough time.
I'll tell you what. Last thing I want to say on it. Spurs, don't see the benefit of being one of the richest clubs in the world because, of course, Daniel Levy needs enough in the pot to buy another fucking house, don't he? How many is he
Yeah.
up to now? He's got probably up on about.
What,
He's just
built
greedy owner.
£300 million hotel, and we was meant to have a car park underneath the stadium for fans to park in. Instead, that Formula fucking racetrack turned up and all that one afternoon, which was
But the
convenient.
car park's not making him money. That thing will do.
Exactly.
Oh, exactly. Right, Barney, I know we've kept you quiet for a long time, mate.
It's
I
all
think
right. It's
you've
having a
probably
chance to sort of analyse it in my head now. It's fine, Kallum.
Sorry about that, Barney. I had a lot to just vent.
You'd
No,
rather
mate, you're
be quiet
entitled
on
to.
this
You're
one.
entitled to.
But no,
I
so
actually enjoyed that.
I'll let you have this whole game to yourself unless anyone wants to come in just on small points, because I think you're probably quite pissed off with this one like we were with the other one.
Oh, to be honest, I said you off air. It's taken me all week just to calm down, and I'll try and speak as much as I can about the game because I'll be honest with you guys, there wasn't really much to say that was positive, but I will try, so bear with me. Just wait for that plane to go over. For starters, I'm just going to go to the end of the game first and then go back. If you look at the stats and you realise that Man United's first shot on goal was a deflected strike for their winner, it tells the whole story. But going back to the beginning of the game, we had our chances, yes, but in typical Fulham fashion, Raul Jimenez should have done better with a good chance. It was quite early on. Unana flapped around a bit with the occasional ball going into the box, but overall in that first half, he wasn't really troubled. And I've spoken to a couple of Fulham fans about this, and you can speak about this as well. But we know how good Anderson is with his diagonal balls from the back, finding attackers on the wing. And since he's come back from injury, and I've said this to a couple of Fulham fans, he seems a bit rusty. And Diop deputised really, really well when he came in when Anderson was injured. And it's kind of bugged me, and I haven't spoken about this, but Anderson came straight back into the side, straight away, and Diop was dropped when he did really, really well in his previous games. And, we were picking up draws. We drew a lot of games in December, bearing in mind. We didn't win enough we didn't win as much as we should have done. But yeah, that was a disappointment. And it was just a game of such little quality. I mean, I said this off air, United genuinely, no disrespect to United fans, but that was the worst United side I've seen in my life. And I'm 44 years old. And I remember Alex Ferguson's side in the 90s. I used to watch them all the time. Fearful side, brilliant side. That United side, unrepeatable words. I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. They were really poor. They just didn't have any cohesion, lacking passes. Yeah, they defended well. We restricted them. They restricted us. But we just looked toothless, Kallum. We really did. It was quite worrying. And I really want us to go for a striker, in the transfer window because we're lacking. We rely too much on attacks from the wings like Antonio Robinson. When teams figure out how to play against you and block off those attacks, Sander Berger and Sasa Luik, brilliant in midfield. Calvin Bassey had a great game. I mean, the deflection hit Sander Berger and went in. He was unlucky. Anderson, he should have scored. I don't know if you saw the header at the end, but I can't remember the United player cleared off the line. But it's just little moments like that cost you. And yeah, I'm a bit disappointed because this team is capable of so much more. We should have a lot more points. I mean, I can't be too downhearted. We're still 10th. 33 points is not bad. But, like Bournemouth, like Forest, we came up all three together in 2022. We've all, in our own ways, flourished. We're holding our own in the Premier League now. And it's great to see. But I just think we just that little bit finis to take us that one step further.
How's Sessegnon been for you guys this year?
Good. He's been actually good, but I don't think he should play in defence. He should play more as an attacking threat. That's what I think he's better at.
Maybe
he
could be an option.
It might be complete bull crap, and we're talking a little bit transfers and what we know. We put a couple on the screen earlier on. William, we was linked to him on a free, and it could be complete bull crap. And I know his age, and I know it's a bit of a funny transfer. He played for you, William. What do you think? Do you think he'd be all right for us?
You know what? I don't know if you saw Tom Kearney's when he did Monday Night Football. and he went on, was talked about him, but he was really good, and he's one of my favourite players, Tom. And straight away he said, I don't know, was it Jamie Carragher? He said, Tom, so who's your favourite player you played with? And straight away he said, Willian, no contest. I mean, the guy, his football brain is just, he's the best player I've seen. He's outstanding. He is. He's the best Fulham player I've seen. I'm not going to lie to you. I think he could walk into, I'm not lying here, he could walk into most Premier League sides. I'd take it back in a heartbeat.
It's just the transfers come up and you think his age and stuff, but I just remember when he played for you, he just scored screamers on Match of the Day.
You know
all the
what?
time.
He did. He just found that extra space, and he drew attackers to him, gets a shot away. You know, he's a joy to watch. I take
on a free transfer like he is, just to finish us a half the season when we're shorter players. I think I would go for him. You know,
well, I did see,
and it's crazy at that age.
You know, he should. I mean, your club should. Sorry, I mean, I saw reports. There's about 3 Premier League clubs I think he's talking to. Any club would be foolish not to sign him, and I really mean that.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Does anyone want to come in on this game? Because I mean, I'm not going to lie, I watched it and I was nearly falling asleep from both teams. To be honest, there was a lot of flapping about.
You're not the only one, Kallum. Trust me.
Yeah, so I mean, if everyone's happy, we'll move on to next week's.
I was disappointed. This isn't even a sentence. I was just disappointed in Fulham this game because I wanted them to smash Man U, and Martinez, the midget hammer as they call him. I wanted him to. I can't believe he scored the winner because there was putting pictures up of who's the tank that you've got, Mr. Oily.
Traore. Oil boy.
Yeah, there's putting pictures of Traore because he says next time we meet, and then there was putting Martinez. They were saying Traore versus Martinez. I was a bit frustrated that Martinez come on top because I don't like him, the little midget.
He is a tosser. He's a
the
tosser.
Only game you left out was Brentford 2-1 against Palace.
Oh shit! Sorry about that, mate. I'll jump back onto that one. Right. So, obviously, Brentford travelled down to Selhurst Park. This one, I think we all went for either it was going to be a Brentford win or a Palace win. We wasn't expecting a draw, and to be honest, I'm thoroughly surprised that Brentford did turn it around. So, I'm going to come to one person on this one who wants to speak on this game.
I'll do it.
Go for it, Joe.
I mean, to be fair, I think the game was kind of dominated by the penalty kind of debacle, wasn't it? Where Mbeumo stepped up to take it, and it was a weird game, really. But obviously he steps to take it, hits the post, and then obviously has to be retaken because of encroachment by Mark Guehi. But I thought it was funny when Mbeumo went up to take it the second time, the players were already celebrating before he put the ball in the net. I don't know if anyone saw it, but Vissa was had his hands in the air and was running off to the corner before the ball had even been kicked. But, Brentford looked classy. I like Thomas Frank. I like how he plays. I like how he sets up his team. He's quite pragmatic in the sense that he's willing to change his tactics depending on who he's playing. Also, Kevin Schade is a great player. Really, really good. A fantastic header from him to make it 2-0. And then it was weird when Palace scored. It was their new signing, wasn't it? Romain Eze from
Millwall.
And he went off and but he went off and started celebrating. It's like you're 2-1 down. I get you're happy you scored from your debut, but fucking hell, you need to go get another goal, mate. But yeah, it was one of those games. I think Brentford again, they've been impressive ever since. I think Thomas Frank has always done really well with a squad that isn't great. He hasn't exactly always been given great players or loads of money to go and spend, and he's turning Brentford into a solid Premier League team that look comfortable to stay up every single year. They keep on losing their star players, and it doesn't seem to affect them in any sense. A little bit like what Bournemouth are having, where you're kind of just becoming this Premier League staple now, and there's no real worry about getting relegated. So Palace, they're going to have to be careful because I think they could stay up, but they're one of those teams. It's getting really, really close for them. And, it's going to be tough. Luckily, they've got a decent goal scorer and a couple of attacking players in Mateta and Eze. And their defence isn't too bad with Guehi and Lacroix. But obviously losing Trevor Chalobah when he was called by Chelsea is quite a big miss for him. But yeah, one of those games where I think no one was that surprised in Brentford victorious 2-1.
No,
Kallum,
exactly.
because I was so excited about Everton winning, I forgot
Yeah.
to mention this. So I'm going to rewind back to Everton for 2 seconds. Did any of you see the penalty? Did you think it was a penalty?
I thought it was
It was.
questionable.
I thought
there
it was a
some
penalty.
questions.
Yeah.
I just found it mad that the Brighton fans was booing on that it wasn't a penalty when he went like that with his arm and hit it as a penalty. This was because he just talked about officials. Second one, if you deliberately handball and you give a penalty, like, isn't that a yellow card for the player? If he's said that he's deliberately handballed it to give a penalty.
Yeah,
Don't know.
if it's deliberate, I would always say it is. You know, there's been a couple of situations where we've had penalties go against us, but it's not been deliberate. So, for example, Zamora a couple of years back against West Ham slid in, and there was nowhere physically he could put his hands, but they gave a penalty, and of course it wasn't a yellow card. I agree with you, Dan, completely. If it's ball to hand, I think referees have to make that judgment. It can't just go straight to VAR. But if a player actually reaches out
Swipes
and
it,
swipes it, it's a yellow
Yeah,
card all day long.
I don't normally moan about referees because we all get decisions with us and against us, but he swiped the ball. It was a penalty. I couldn't believe they didn't think it was. He swiped the ball. I thought that player should have got a yellow card, so I was watching it and I thought, fair enough. Then, did Vardy get a card for pointing to his Premier League badge when he scored?
No.
And Jai got a card for doing a seagull.
I can't believe he got a card for that. I just thought
He just did the seagull celebration and got a card.
The Premier League badge is just saying, yeah, we're in the Premier League, but because it's doing a seagull celebration, you're doing a direct connotation to
the Premier League badge. The Premier League badge is taunting that you've been shit and haven't won a trophy in ages, right?
Yeah, and
that's what it is. Taunting your fans. That's what it is. Leicester won the Premier League.
It's just part of football, isn't it?
Just in case you didn't get what Vardy was saying to you, Callum. He's saying you've been shit. I won the Premier League, right?
No, I completely understood that.
He's taunting you.
The
seagull was us taunting them as well.
I don't know. It's just give and take. Like, it should be, if you can give it, you can take it. It's whatever. It's football. It's not that deep. Like, just enjoy it. Have a bit of fun with it. I think it's great when you see that.
You want it. It's what makes football. When you're on top, you give the shit. When you're not, you take the shit, and that's the way it goes. And
anything less. I didn't expect anything less from Jamie Vardy. That's exactly what I expected from him. And to be fair, like, just give it. I respect it. I respect him being that kind of player.
If Maddison throws 3 darts next time he scores, I want 3 yellow cards.
No, I think if he does that celebration again, I'm going to get real darts and throw them at him because it fucking annoys me. It is so annoying.
He uses all his energy. This is why Spurs don't have a good second half where he goes crap, because he uses all his energy throwing those darts.
Yeah, he's the only consistency in his game is turning up at Ali Pally every time darts is on and all that. That is literally the consistent part of his life.
Isn't it amazing how angry us fans get over little shit when we're on? If you was top 4 and he was throwing those darts, mate, you'd be getting tissues out, having a frigging jizz, mate. I tell you, no way.
Exactly right.
It's just when you're at the bottom, it hurts, and it's funny because we've been in your situation. It's so funny because Spurs was a lot better than us seasons before, and to see a Spurs fan that's been in such a better mood than us for a couple of seasons to be exactly the same as us. This is how we was, how you are now, negative, drained. It's funny to see Spurs going through that at this moment in time. I've been there myself.
There should be banter in football. You should be able to do things. You should be able to rip your shirt off, wave it over your head like they used to. Let's be honest. Let's look at during the World Cup when the goalkeeper, what's his name, the Villa goalkeeper, I've lost.
Martinez.
Yeah, when he got his golden glove and then stuck it where do you know what I mean? I thought he was going to get beheaded.
You should see. Obviously, don't ever Don't ever gamble, by the way. I don't promote gambling, but I do bet on yellow cards. And the amount of times I'm like, take your top off, when the player scores. I'm like, just take your top off to get the yellow card.
Your missus is like, what the hell are you on about? She thinks she just thought
she knows I've got the bet. Oh, she's shouting, take your top off as well.
Oh yeah,
you should be able to have a laugh. You should be able to do things. I absolutely pissed myself laughing when Martinez got that golden glove and stuck it, right where his knob is, because it was just funny. It was just funny. It was just like, But yeah, I was also sat there as well. I thought, oh, he's in Qatar. Might not get out now.
Yeah, no, you're probably going to end up in a jail cell or dead in a hole. One of the two.
Yeah, old chop. Yeah. Don't do that.
Oh, right. So that is obviously the end of our review show. So let's go predictions on our games coming up for 24. So we got Forest at home against Brighton. Both teams coming off the back of a loss. So Barney, what are we going for?
Should be a good game. This one of the ones I was looking out for. I never back the early kickoff because they can always just be a bit kind of But I think 2-1 to Forest on the day.
2-1 Forest. Joe, what are you thinking?
I'll go 2. Yeah, I think 2-1. 2-1 sounds about right.
To Forest or to Brighton, mate?
To Forest. To Forest.
Dan, are you going to back Forest or are you going to give Brighton a soft spot this time?
Do you know what? I think Brighton was a good team that would beat. I'm going to go 2-2, because Forest have fast attackers, Brighton have slow defenders, but Brighton have really good attackers as well. So it's a good game, this, isn't it? I'm excited on this one. 2-2, I'm going to go.
No, that's fair. And Craig, I'm wondering whether you'll back another South Coast club or whether you'll be backing Forest on this one. What are you thinking?
I think, to be honest, and this is, the head talking here, as much as we have a bit. To be honest, actually, there's this strange fucking loving that's coming up, between Forest and Bournemouth fans. A couple of seasons ago, we couldn't stand each other. Things were falling off Dean Court. They were blaming us for the fucking weather and all sorts. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we really want you to get Europe. Yeah, we really want you to get Europe too. Oh, Forest and Bournemouth in the Champions League. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, yes, kiss, kiss, kiss. But yeah.
When you're both in a relegation battle next season, it'll be different.
Oh yeah, we fucking hate them again,
Yeah, have you guys got some like weird love child going on or something like that?
It's fucking strange.
It's like your love child.
It's when because they're both doing so well. It's when you're happy in football. They're just like, yeah, you know what? I'm happy. I love you. I love you. Do you know when you're drunk and you just say loads of cheesy crap? You're like, you're right. You're my best mate. You've been my best mate forever. That's what these are like.
It's like if you do a direct correlation on a map. You go, right, we're coming down from Nottingham. We're coming up from Bournemouth. Where do we meet in the middle? Oh, Reading. Reading's your love child. Fucking hell. Talk about dead of the lot.
But I'm going to go with my head, and I'm going to say Forest 3, Brighton 0.
Ooh, okay. I think that's fair. I think I'm going to go 2-1 Forest on this one. I think Dan's right. There's a lot of good attackers on both sides, but I think the Forest defence is just a little bit better with Murillo and Milenkovic. So I've got faith in this one. Craig, we'll come back onto you on this one, mate. Obviously, it is Bournemouth-Liverpool at the Vitality. I'm thinking that you're definitely going to have to back Bournemouth, aren't you, on this one?
It's weird. It's weird. Another thing that's really, really fucking strange this week is that people have been saying that we're favourites for a game against Liverpool. Fuck, what's happening to this world? It's just like a fucking different dimension. It really is fucking odd.
Somebody pinch him.
I know. And I think we are. I think, the way we are playing, I think, the spirit in this camp, the way we demolished Nottingham Forest, I'm going to go with a 3-1 win to Bournemouth.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. I mean, at this rate, if you do win it, then you'll be happy. If not, you're going to be seeing your love child on Sunday in Reading, by the sounds of it. So
Yeah, probably.
we'll see on that one. Right, we'll go backwards on ourselves. Dan, what you thinking on this one? I know you'd want Liverpool to lose, so I'm hoping you'll back Craig.
I'm really hoping they beat them. I don't want them winning the league, so I really freaking don't want them winning the league. It's just scary who's going to stop them, that's all. But they do need to keep losing if that's to happen. The two interesting battles in my head, I think Trent is a shite defender. Trent is. So, and I do think Bournemouth have got one of the best left wingers in the game at the minute. So I think that's a good battle. But then I do think, although he's been really good for you, you've been playing your midfielder right back. I think Diaz might get at him a little bit more than what he's been got at your right back position. So it's an interesting battle here. And I think that's where it could be won. Good game, man. As much as I hate Liverpool, and I do hate them, and I do want them to lose, I hope Bournemouth win, though. I really do.
What prediction are you going for then, mate?
6-0 Bournemouth.
See, I love Everton fans. Everton, I'll tell you what, Dan.
As fucking delusional as you come. Right, there we go.
We'll catch up, we'll get the beers in. We'll just celebrate all night long.
And I'll be round your ass.
Joesph.
If you win 6-0, mate, I'll be round your ass. You know what I mean? We'll turn the eating up and put some Jamaican songs on and we'll be partying all night, mate.
Exactly. We'll
Love
be
it.
pissed out
God forbid both of your partners having to put up with this on a daily fucking basis.
Yeah. Callum, mate, you're twice as bad, mate. You know what I mean? I've heard you whinge. Right, let's go.
Well, considering that my missus has just texted me saying that she's ended up sitting down on the sofa with her parents watching Gogglebox and fucking Naked Attraction has just come on TV. And she's like, fucking help me. God help me. So, I mean, literally, I think I'll be joining you guys with the Jamaican music at Craig's
You're invited.
at the moment.
Love
All
it.
right, I'll pick up Barney on the way down to the south coast. Dan, you can meet me by Heathrow. And Joe,
Bring it on.
you can
Bring
get
it
on
on.
the train and I'll pick you up from the station and we'll go to Craig's house.
There we are. Job done. Everybody's
All
welcome. A
Right.
party in Bournemouth.
Love it.
Joe,
There we
what
go.
are you thinking in terms of a score for this one, mate?
I'm thinking 1-1. I think Liverpool have to score with their attacking talent, but Bournemouth, again, they've just been in great form, and I trust Iraola to just get a result. I think 1-1 would be a fair result. So yeah, I think I'll go with a draw. I was thinking at first maybe a Liverpool win, but I don't know. I think Liverpool are going to struggle.
No, that's fair. And Barney, what score are you going for on this one, mate?
Well, you know how much I love Bournemouth, and that's genuine. I want to be part of this Nottingham Forest Bournemouth loving. Where's Fulham in this? We came up together.
Yeah,
Um,
actually, yeah,
you can
come
be the
join
West
us. Come
London
on.
love child then.
Come
there
on.
you go.
Come
You can stop
join
and
us.
play an earlier stop.
Love it. No, I really, really rate Bournemouth, and I have all season. The best side, actually, one of the best sides I saw at the Cottage, and I mean that genuinely. Pass the ball so well, really, really good, organised, real attacking threat. Liverpool will be expected to score, but I'm going for this game. This will make you smile, mate. 3-1 to Bournemouth.
Look
Come
at
on.
that. There we are. Fulham's welcome as well. I tell you what, I like you, Barney. I tell you what, it's HMS Pistol League is going to launch now. And we're going
Love
to
it.
upset Liverpool. We're all going to do a Leicester, and in front of 11,000 fans, we'll be lifting aloft
we
Premier
both
League trophy.
survived Scott Parker, didn't we? So
Yeah,
God.
to be honest, I don't know how we did that actually. I think I was climbing up the walls for Scott the Bin Man Parker.
And yet he's doing well at Burnley. So, I mean,
Wow,
to give
you
him-
say you say that until he gets humped 9-0 in the Premier League in his
well,
first
there
game.
is that. There is
Yeah.
that. I mean, David Clark's gone for he's shatting your cereal, Craig. So he's gone for
Yeah.
Liverpool 3, Bournemouth 2.
Sorry,
so at least-
David, you're not welcome.
At least someone's brought you down on the level. And please don't be horrible to the subscribers because Harry will ban us all.
Yeah, I'm sorry, David. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Right, Dan, only fair to come to you on this one first. I think you guys have got to kill Leicester and all that. You've got to get some payback for me. So, I mean, what are you going for on this one?
I always prefer to be the underdog. I don't like these sort of games, and I know you being like you're the same, Callum. When you play these you have lost these sort of games this season. as you've just lost against them. But I mean, you played other weaker teams. I hate it.
Yeah.
I really do hate it, especially when Everton become favourites now because we started winning. I like being the underdog. 3-1 to get us ready to beat Bournemouth. I mean, we've got Liverpool after as well. The derby's coming up for us. So I think 3-1. But Vardy's a shit ass. I don't like this game, by the way. I just want to get it done because Vardy's a shit ass against us as well.
He's
He
a
scored
bastard.
late goals.
He's so difficult
Yeah.
to defend.
He
against.
scored late goals to beat us. I remember when I was at Leicester's ground watching Everton-Leicester and they scored a late one and he ripped us a little bit. So I just want to get this done. 3-1 Everton.
Okay. Barney, what you going for on this one, mate?
I think it's be a gritty one. Leicester obviously flying the sort of the crest of a wave after their Kallum, and you and both of you win against Spurs, but I'm going to have to back Everton here, 2-1.
No, that's fair. Joe, what you going for on this one?
I'm going 2-0 Everton. I saw more when we played against Everton. I saw more from them that I believe that they are actually a good, like they can be a good side. I don't believe Leicester are actually good. I just think we were as bad as them on the day. But Everton, I was actually impressed with. I thought they played well, and I don't think Leicester have enough going forward. I think Everton have been quite good defensively. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Everton.
No, that's fair. And Craig, are you backing Everton, or are you going to go for a cheeky Leicester underdog?
Oh, let's be honest. Everybody bloody beats Leicester City, don't they?
All right, Craig.
Everybody. Although saying that, we got beat by Leicester as well. So I'm going to go. I do agree with Dan. Vardy is a shithouse. He's a right pain in the arse. I think he is going to be a pain in the arse.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got enough in the tank. At the end of the day, under Sean Dyche, this would be a defeat, mate. All day long. But under David Moyes, the Everton squad is a lot better. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win.
That's fair enough, mate. David's had his Leicester family take the piss out of him all week. So good luck with that, David. I'm sure you'd wanted to hide away in a room and turn the lights out on that one. But you have gone Everton 1, Leicester 1 here. So if Leicester do beat Everton, then it does take the pressure off you a little bit. If Everton do beat them, then Dan will be taking the piss out of both of us, saying that Everton are a better team than Spurs.
Do you feel like you want the teams at the bottom to lose yet? Just see. Are you at that point where...
I'm literally at that point where I will either want them to lose or draw.
You're looking down. We've had to go through that the last couple of seasons, and
I'm having
you just want Southampton, Leicester, and who else is it that's down there? Wolves to be
Ipswich and Wolves.
It literally
you just want them to be really bad, and Ipswich, you want them to be really bad.
It happened with the Wolves game on the weekend. Like they got Arsenal got the red card. I was like, yes, red card. And then I was like, wait a minute, do I actually want Arsenal to lose this? Like, I'm not sure.
It makes you watch a lot of football being at the bottom of the table. Let's just say that.
I mean, I was looking at the Fulham United game, and I was kind of hoping that Fulham were going to draw or beat them and all that, because just to keep United in the same level pegging, thinking they're actually as shit as us, if not worse, with their squad.
Makes you feel better,
But then the media separated as well. Like if it's just Tottenham down there, honestly, all we'd hear every single moment of every day is how bad Tottenham are. At least Man United are as bad as us at the moment. So it's like, it's not just us.
I mean, at least there's this game to take the pressure off of Tottenham, to be fair. I mean, this is literally shithouse versus shithouse and all that, with one being just a little bit nicer in terms of that we actually respect them. And then Southampton having one player that Spurs may try and buy in Dibbling, and anything else I don't give a fuck about. Because if Southampton get relegated, I can at least take the piss out of my mate. If we get relegated with them, I'm going to have to be watching the same freaking games as him every week, and I'm not doing that. So, Craig, I'm going to come down to you on the South Coast for this one, mate. Seeing as you've got one of your favourite teams in this game, what's your score prediction for it?
Do you know what I'm really, really nervous about at this game? I am worried. This could be a bit of a. I'm speaking like it's Bournemouth. A really tough game for Bournemouth. I was less worried about our game playing Liverpool than I am this one. I'm going to go with my heart here. and I'm going to go for Ipswich 4, Southampton 0. I don't think I can give Ipswich anymore, but I'm worried about this game. The head is saying, I don't want. I just think it would be fucking hilarious if Southampton don't get out of single figures. It'd just be so funny. It's to be honest, they've already consigned themselves to relegation. They're just like, yeah, it's happening. But we'll beat Derby's record, and it'd just be fucking funny if they don't.
All right, Joe, I'll come to you because we're looking over our shoulders with this game, hoping that they both draw. We want neither of them to get a point if we can help it, but one's better than nothing. So what are you going for on this one?
I mean, a draw would be lovely, you're right. But I think Ipswich could take it, but I think both quite poor defensively. I'm going to go 3-2 to Ipswich.
No, that's fair. Barney, what are you going for on this one, mate?
Yeah, it's just one of the...
Okay, right. Barney's decided to tank himself. So, Dan, what are you going for? Because that is not a glamorous look from Barney being frozen on that.
Always,
screen.
you know what? It always freezes. Never makes you look good on the freeze, does it? Been there before.
It looks like he's going through a very painful experience in a bog.
You don't realise you're freezing pictures, do you? Let's just say that I've had many tongues out on my freezes, and I've come back and think, I've watched the channel back, and I've been like, oh my god, it was like that for 5 minutes. No, do you know what? I'm going to be the fawn here. I'm going to go for Southampton 2-1, just because they beat us twice. Like you just said, though, people don't realise Ipswich have brought all these really good players that I do rate. I think they've got good players, and I think they are decent. But the defence, to me, you're only as good as your defence. Yeah. You're only as good as your defence, and I think 2-1 Southampton, we're going to get shocked here.
Okay. No, that's fair. And David Clark's gone for Ipswich 2, Southampton 1. So that's a fair scoreline on that one. Let's jump to... Oh, there we go. Barney's back.
Sorry,
back now.
Speak. You might have to repeat your last question, Kallum.
What was your score prediction for Ipswich Southampton, sir?
I'll be quick. I'm going for 2-1 Ipswich.
Wonderful. I'll stick with you as one of these involves your team as well. Fulham, Newcastle. What are you predicting for this one, mate?
Oh, gosh. Tricky one. Our away form has actually been really, really good. Better than the home form, which has surprised me. At home, we just seem to sort of gift teams goals and wins and things. I'm actually going to go for 1-1.
Okie dokie. Craig, what are you going for with this one, mate?
Do you know what? Barney took the words out of my mouth there. That was just what I was thinking. 1-1.
1-1. Joe?
I think Newcastle have enough to beat Fulham in this game. I think Newcastle can play some really great football at times. Again, they are prone to slip up though, and Fulham have been quite good this year. So, but I'm still thinking Newcastle can win. I'm going to go 3-1 Newcastle.
Dan, you thinking a Newcastle win or a draw across the doors, or Fulham nicking one away?
Obviously, what a game week this is. Some of these teams, like you're putting them on paper, and you're like, they're proper like matches, ain't they? Like really close games. I think this has been the hardest ones to call so far on your scores. Some really good games, like 50-50. I think that don't underestimate Fulham. But Tonali's class, isn't he? I forgot to say that about Newcastle on that game. Tonali's is turning into the player they wanted. 2-2 I'm going to go for, though, because Smith Rowe and all that lot. Fulham will give it this game. 2-2.
No, that's fair. That. David Clark's gone for 2-0 to Newcastle. I'm gonna throw some goals in there. I think it could be 3-2 to Newcastle. I just think there's some stuff in there to sort of balance it out. So, yeah, I'm gonna go 3-2 with this one. Villa Wolves. I think that Villa's going to probably another good game, but I think Villa will shit on Wolves all day long and all that on this one. So I'm going to go 2-1 Villa. Dan, what are you thinking?
No, I think Wolves are going to get a draw out of this. I think Villa are shocking. Honestly, the way Villa played against West Ham, I can't get that out of my head, that second half. So I think Wolves are going to scare you a little bit here and get a draw. 2-2.
Okie dokie. Barney?
derby as
I
well.
actually
isn't it? Kind of.
agree. Not with the same draw score, but I think Wolves are capable here. So I'm going to go for 1-1, a draw as well.
1-1, Joe.
I think Villa are just going to edge it 2-1 to Aston Villa.
Craig, you're going to go for a Villa win, Wolves win, or a draw?
This is an interesting one for me because, of course, Villa haven't been, from what it sounds and what it reads like, haven't been that great this evening against Celtic. I think they are a little bit fatigued. I think it is catching up with them. Whereas Wolves are going to be looking at their fixtures and going, shit, we're right in this. We are in big trouble this year. I know we're joking about Spurs and all that, but Wolves are right in the mix of it. They are, personally, for me, I think it's got to be between the three teams. I thought Leicester were, I wrote off Leicester until they won recently. So I am going to go, and this is a bold one here, I'm going to go for a 3-2 Wolves win, and a little bit of an epic, but that's not because Villa are poor. I think it's because Villa are they're running out of legs a little bit. They're running a little bit on empty. They're going to have to rotate players after tonight. They're going to have played a strong team against Celtic, and Wolves are going to be looking over their shoulder and thinking, we need to do something and quick.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair enough, mate. Right, let's jump to West London. This is a game that I'm absolutely bricking myself on. So, Joe, I'll give it to you first, mate.
3-1 Brentford.
3-1 Brentford. Craig?
I hate to say this, and I'm going to really upset you guys. Brentford are a very good team at the G-Tech. Not so much decent travellers, but they are, for some reason, Bournemouth can't beat them home or a fucking way. It's like a case of the fucking syphilis or the crabs, and you think, oh, for fuck's sake, the sooner Brentford's relegated, the fucking better, because it'd just be peace and quiet for us. I can guarantee you, we've got them towards the end of the season, and I'm not worried about Man City fucking our season up. I'm worried about fucking Brentford turning up here and then doing what they normally do. I think this is going to be a very difficult game. They're awkward at home. Brentford are playing well. Of course, they beat Palace. I think Spurs, you are a better team than Palace. But I hate to say this. I think it's probably going to be 2-1 Brentford. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. I think most people, even Tottenham fans, aren't expecting anything from this game. The one hope we can have is that a couple players seem to be coming back from injury. Van der Ven might be back.
Hopefully they can get some minutes in their legs tomorrow night against Elfsborg and all that.
And then maybe turn up. But I don't think any Tottenham fan is confident about this game. So
do you know what's mad? Like when he just said 3-1, I was like, oh, you're just being over dramatic. You're two down there. And then I actually thought about the game, and I'm thinking, there is actually an hard game. Like normally, I think Spurs now beat Brentford, but then I actually think the way you're actually playing, you haven't got the right to just say that they're going to batter them. So
I don't have any expectation. The way that we're letting,
I still think, even though I'm watching, you've deflated second half. I still think you can beat these. I'm chuck mine in early. You didn't even ask me, but I think you'll beat these 2-1.
Okay. No, that's fair. I mean, David Clark's gone for Brentford 6, Spurs 8. To be fair, both teams can't defend to save their lives and all that. Brentford, I have to admit, do have a leaky defence. But our defence is just, we don't have any defenders in there. It's made up of fullbacks and confused midfield players. So it's hard to say.
Here's an interesting stat, actually, about Brentford. Out of all the teams in the Premier League at home, they have scored the most goals.
Oh, wonderful.
Any team in the Premier League. The other, though, spin side of that, is they're one of the highest conceders at home as well. which is, quite surprising. I just want to actually promote it now, that we have got the best goals against ratio in the whole of the league, including Liverpool and Arsenal, for home games. We've only conceded 7. Liverpool and Arsenal have conceded 9 at home. So yeah, I'm just sitting on my.
Good for you. You've had your time. Let the rest of us have
Cloud.
something.
All right, I'll shut the
Pipe
fuck
down.
up.
Pipe down. Be quiet. Right, Barney, what's your score prediction, please, sir?
I apologise to you guys and Harry if you're watching from what I'm about to say. Obviously, I work right.
You can't do that to Harry. You cannot.
I know. Me and Harry are great
Barney,
friends.
how much you love Harry, mate. I hope you're not doing dirty on Harry.
Be
on this
honest.
channel.
If it wasn't for Harry, I wouldn't be sitting where I am today. He's given me a platform, and he knows that he's given me a purpose to do these.
So why do I get stuck with you then? Gave you the platform, I get stuck with you.
Again, I apologise for what I'm about to say. I work right next to Brentford. I know a lot of Brentford fans at work, and we always talk. We have a lot of banter from Brentford. It's natural. They're exceedingly good at home, really good. And I know Spurs have got some players coming back, but I don't expect Ange to put them straight in. That'd just be silly because you just risk injuries again if they get some minutes tomorrow.
Did it already.
European game. However, I can't see anything other than the Brentford win. Sorry, guys. I really am. 2-1 Brentford.
2-1 Brentford. Okie dokie. Right, let's go to Old Trafford. This has the makings of not a good game at all. I think that they both play very similar defense. Well, they both try to play defensive football and both can't score enough goals either. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw here. Joe, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go 2-1 Palace. I don't trust Manchester United in any game. You don't know how they're going to play. So it's just, I believe a little bit more in Palace just having an actual game plan. And Manchester United, I think they just make it up every game. So yeah, I think Palace can get a win.
Okay. Craig?
I tell you what, the Plastic Manx have been terrible all season, really, haven't they?
Yeah.
And, they had a little bit of a respite against Fulham. I think probably more fingers have got to be pointed at Fulham for that than Manchester United. But I honestly think Palace are a decent side when they're on it. Are they really on it? Oh, it's a bloody difficult one. I am going to go with my heart because I'm not particularly fond of Man United. I'm going to go for 2-1 Palace.
2-1 Palace. Okie dokie. Barney, what you going for?
I just know how this is going to go. We go and basically gift a late Christmas present to Manchester United, and then Palace are going to go and say, right, this Fulham is how it's done. And Manchester United are all at 6s and 7s, aren't they? They just have no cohesion. They're not really a team at the moment. They just they have no direction, and they're not the Manchester United they were, in all honesty. So I actually fancy Palace 2-1.
2-1. Dan, you going draw? United win or
Yeah,
Palace win?
I'm with him. I think anytime the Man United fans get that little bit of a lift and get that late 1-0 goal licking little Martinez's arse, it get knocked down a peg or two. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 as well. That was what I had in my head. 2-1 Crystal Palace.
Okie dokie. So the next game, from a neutral point of view, I mean, one's coming off of a nice win beating Chelsea, and the other one's had a all right win against Wolves. I mean, from a neutral point of view, you'd say that it's probably got goals in it. So I'm going to go for 2-2 here. Joe, what are you thinking?
It's a massive game, isn't it? It's tough, really, because I think with these injuries that Arsenal have got, they're obviously not looking anywhere near as good as they did. And Man City maybe they're turning a corner. Who knows? I think I'll go 2-2 as well. I hope it's a good game.
Lovely. David Clark's gone 2-2. Sorry, David, I meant to put you up as 0-0 for the last game as well. Craig, you thinking a draw here, or do you think one team's got the edge?
Of course, it's going to be a goal fest because both of these sides, are going to be going for it. So I'm going to go for 1-0 Arsenal. It's going to be the complete anticlimax. I think it's just they're going to both cancel each other out. But I think Arsenal have got a little bit more impetus. Man City, I haven't been impressed with them all season. You know, they've picked up a little bit now. They're getting back into their groove, but I haven't been impressed with them. You know, this could be the weekend where Liverpool could potentially, you know, run away with it even further, or it could be the weekends where they're really pegged back. And I personally think it might be the weekend where Liverpool are pegged back a little bit by Arsenal.
Okie dokie. Barney, are you thinking draw, or are you going for a London team, or are you going for a Northern team?
I think it'll be goals in it. I think 1 goal either way. So I'm going to go for 3-2 Arsenal.
3-2 Arsenal. And Dan, obviously, this is a fixture that, in your hate of Liverpool, that you'll be watching with a lot of interest in there. I mean, you probably wish they weren't playing against each other and they was getting points to try and knock Liverpool off in different ways and all that. But I got to get an answer from you, mate. What you thinking?
Yeah, in my head, I want a team to win, but I've got to guess my score prediction. So I'm hoping that Arsenal win, and I hope Arsenal win the league. That's what I really want. But I think because we're all building this up, and it looks probably one of the best games coming up, and it looks really exciting. Loads of goals.
It's going to be
crap.
crap.
I think it'll be 0-0.
It's going to be crap.
Yeah.
It's gonna...
Shit. It always like that, isn't it? It'll be a 0-0.
Yeah.
Man City pass the ball to death. The ball just gets passed about all game. No one scores 0-0.
Okie dokie. Probably another game that's going to be made up to be quite big because the hype is a London derby. I will come to Barney on this one first. Obviously, Chelsea being your local team, your favourite team, and everything that you're so happy about. And West Ham are just in the wrong borough at the moment and keep getting lost. So what are you going for on this one, mate?
Well, I'm still celebrating our win at Stamford Bridge from Boxing Day, so I'm happy. That was a good game. But Chelsea, funny animal. They sort of, have some good results, some bad results. West Ham can do it on their day, but I'm going for Chelsea 2-1 win.
2-1 win. Okie dokie. Joe, what are you thinking on this one?
I think it could be a high scoring one. I'm going to go Chelsea 4, West Ham 2.
Okie dokie. David Clark's gone Parma FC 2, West Ham 1. Craig, we know how much you love Parma FC. What are you thinking?
Just fucking pain in the arse, aren't they? I've got to be honest though. West Ham are probably a basket case themselves. However, and it's a big however, under Potter, they seem to have improved a bit. Not as much as Everton have. You know, let's be honest. Everton hit fucking rock bottom with Sean Dyche. To be honest, I would rather have gone to the fucking dentist than actually sat there for 80 minutes against Everton a couple of weeks back. But West Ham seem to be picking up. So I am going to go a Parma FC 1, West Ham 2.
That's fair enough. And Dan, what are you thinking here? Parma FC or the Olympic Stadium running track winning this one?
I think Chelsea are going to bounce back here. Palmer was shite last game, and he is a good player. So I'm going to go Palmer FC 5. West Ham, I've told you, they are bad. They are. With Souček in the middle, who's passed it a little bit now, I can see Chelsea having a big game here. 5-1.
Okay. And right, well, that is every game for game week 24 wrapped up. There's nothing else that I've missed. No one else that we need to cover. He's giving me a dirty look at the bottom there, so I'm guessing that there is actually one. There's a double header actually this week. It's the Merseyside derby, according to Harry's lineup. I need to check that. Dan, when are you guys playing them? Is it
after the cup? So we've got this game, then we've got Bournemouth in the FA Cup, and then we've got the derby after.
So why is it on this one?
Is it not? It must be midweek, mustn't it? Are you sure it's not this Wednesday?
It is midweek, yeah.
But we're playing Liverpool next week, aren't we? Because of
is it not this Wednesday?
It's the reschedule. It's a rescheduled windy one where they called it off because of the wind, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they're playing now and all that because you've got Yeah, because we're playing Liverpool next. Next.
Pretty sure we've
Next
got the Bournemouth game in the FA Cup first, and then we've got this game.
Yeah, they must
Yeah,
be.
Wednesday the 12th. Wednesday the 12th of Feb. It is
So it's still 2 weeks away.
Yeah. Do you know what,
It's just
Dan?
that. Do you know what? Because nobody can beat Liverpool, he just wants it right now. And I get it, because we are going to beat them. If Bournemouth don't, which I'll be really angry with you if you don't, Craig, by the way. If you don't, we'll show you how it's done. But I'm hoping you beat them and we beat them.
Yeah,
so it's coming, don't worry.
Definitely. You know, brothers stay together, as they say.
We've got to beat Liverpool next week as well in the Carabao Cup and all that. We've got our second round, our semi-final play, second leg.
Second leg,
I hope
isn't
you
it?
do. I really hope you do. I
think
actually might sign for Tottenham.
Do you know what? I think, Dan, I think, honestly, whoever at Everton got that game called off was a fucking masterstroke. Let's be honest, Sean Dyche, it was never going to work under him. So what they wanted to do was just delay it, like we did our game against Nottingham Forest. We delay it.
It was probably, but the thing is, it was probably the only time Dinosaur Sean Dyche had a chance of frigging winning a game with 70-mile-an-hour wind in Goodison Park with his long ball.
Exactly,
goal kicks.
It's just set pieces and all that. It's just
set piece. So that probably would have kept him in a job. So maybe it's good that it did get cancelled.
Yeah, Mo Salah just fires it at the Everton goal, and it just kind of goes back and floats back into.
Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't have been able to pass.
Yeah,
so I'm guessing that we may not have a Premier League show next weekend because realistically we are all on cup games. So unless Harry wants us to do a cup run show, then I'm guessing that's why the double header's in there. So let's.
How many hours have we got?
Oh fuck! Don't no. I mean, we're already at 2.5 again this week. I think we've been talking for so long and laughing too much and all that. I need to get new guests where I can keep so civil and all that and not end up bursting into laughter.
Keep control of us all. We just go off on a tangent, don't we all?
I know.
Yeah.
I try
Too
to,
much
but
to
I
say.
enjoy it.
It's really irritating because literally, obviously, I host my show as well. And I know that we want to do this in about an hour and a half, an hour or something. So I'm thinking in my head, I've got, say, a short little piece, a good little short detailed piece. But then you get fucking carried away and you go into this and you go into that. And then you think, I've blown my chance there. I've just spoke for half an hour and I was only meant to say a good piece for 2 minutes. And we've all done it tonight. We're all guilty. I'd love to just pray for it. But then when we spoke about Spurs, it was a big counselling session. So we've all
We've all had it.
Callum, I think you should do it. I think you should do it. Right, game guys, who watched that game between Preston North End and Wycombe Wanderers?
Oh, wonderful! Yeah, it'll be me. Literally be I'll be hosting a championship show before we're even in it. I'm already fucking tempting fate. That's how bad it is. So I mean, right, let's go for score predictions and get everyone to go to bed because we've all got work tomorrow and all that. Unless you're Dan, where you're just going down the job centre to go and see if you can get.
Well, do you know what? I have literally I've got a baby smiling upstairs, 4 weeks old, looking like she's on cocaine, ready to keep it up all night. So don't worry, mate. I had no sleep last night. I'm yawning on this, and I know for a fact that when I go upstairs now, she's going to look at me and want to literally play all night, like Happy Gilmore. So yeah, I'm shattered, mate. I'm shattered. But because I'm dedicated, I'm here and I've given it 110%. And that's what I want the Everton players to do against Leicester. Right. What are we on now then? So we're not doing the cup games, by the way.
No,
we'll just do
your prediction for the Everton Liverpool game.
Oh, you actually doing this game? Yeah.
Yeah, do this game. Yeah, we'll do this game.
Sent you a DM saying you best do this game.
Yeah.
Right, I know how it works. I'm going to go for. Let's not beat around the bush. It's no Mickey Mouse game, is it? They've got good players. They are rats, and Robertson looks like a rat, but and Arnold's div. I hate these. I hate this team. I think that we're going to beat them 2-1. And not only do I want to beat them, I want to injure at least 4 of the players and put them out for the rest of the season. So they're going to do shit. So Van Dijk, I hope Pickford takes him out again and puts him out for the rest of the season. What other players? Good for them. Salah, I want him out. I want O'Brien to crunch him, put him out for the season. Yes, I hate them. So I'm going to go for 2-1 Everton. Illiman and Jai is going to run the show in the derby. I can't wait for this. We've got some good. Although people think Everton are shit in a derby, Illiman and Jai, you've seen him at Spurs. He can turn it on. He's good on the ball. O'Brien, I think he'll be a good derby player. Branthwaite, he loves it against them. He scored last time. You got to remember we beat him last time in the derby. Tarkowski loves the tackle in a derby. He's decent in a derby. So Garner Gay's good in the derby. I'm ready for this. Better will take him out.
Right. So
hopefully we've got a new striker by then as well.
Well, you hit and hope, and
see, I said I was going to in my head. I was going to speak for 2 minutes then, and you've got me into the derby. I'm ready. I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Right, as per the disclaimer, we do not condone violence. So anything that Dan has just said is his own views. And if Merseyside police are watching, then we will hand him over for an antisocial behaviour awareness.
If you do not go into a derby, if you do not go into a derby with that mindset, you're not a proper football fan. Football's dead, mate.
Oh, let's put it this way: at North London derbies, I've literally just ended up fighting with people, so I'm fucking loving it. I can't condone it. I had to keep a straight face.
We all love the problem is a lot of derbies are dead, but I love that. I hate Liverpool. That's what a big part of why I love supporting Everton, because I hate them.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Right, Joe, what you going for on this one, mate?
Sorry, Dan. I'm going to go. The thing is, I appreciate you beat us, but that wasn't hard. And Brighton are so inconsistent.
You've been nice. You've been nice to me on this show.
I have, but I just think Liverpool have got so much quality, and when they want to turn it on, they can turn it on. And I don't think Everton are going to experience that quality because you're playing Leicester. I think Liverpool are going to just win. I think they'll win 3-0, unfortunately. Because I'd like to see Everton win it as well, to be honest, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Anything can happen in a derby, can't it? But I get why I'll let you off because it's a big game.
Just think, again, playing Spurs, again, the Spurs that you played was shit. You played against Brighton, and don't get me wrong, Brighton have some good players, but again, they're so inconsistent. One game they're great, one game they're terrible. And now you've got Leicester, and I don't think they're going to turn up and do much either. So I just think it's going to be a big shock. David Moyes has got to play a different game than he's had to play in these last 3. And I don't know if they're going to be ready for it.
No, that's fair. Right, Barney, what you thinking on this one, mate?
It's a tricky one. Merseyside derby, you never quite know. It's going to be a close-ish game. Liverpool are a really good side, and I think Everton will certainly raise their game. So I'm actually going to go for a surprise 1-1 draw.
1-1. Okie dokie. Craig, what you going for, mate?
Do you know what? I've just been looking at the Everton lineup against Liverpool last year, and Everton do turn it on. And I watched that game, and Everton were very, very good. It was like, for some reason, it was a Sean Dyche team playing not like Sean Dyche. It was really fucking odd. It was like, do you know what I mean? It was really.
I think a derby goat takes over beyond the manager. Do you know what I mean? It comes down to passion.
Yeah, or it might have been that Sean Dyche got some the day before, the night before. So I am going to say, of course, David Moyes has got a decent record from derbies, if I'm right in thinking as well, hasn't he, Dan? I'm going to go with the same scoreline as last year, but a little bit more convincing this time round. Everton 2, Liverpool 0.
Okay. I'm thinking a 2-2 draw on this one. I think I've got to be fair to Dan. I think they will get something out of it.
Kallum, I didn't expect that.
No, I think that Liverpool.
That was really sweet of you, mate. I did not expect that.
Liverpool need a blip, to be honest. They're fucking annoying me now. They just keep scoring too much, and they got one blip against us in the cup game where they were just shit. But we was just
that's when you know Spurs have done Kallum in. When the Spurs have proper wore Kallum down. When he's not ripping me saying they're going to Liverpool are going to batter us about 6-0. So Spurs have wore him down there clearly.
Oh well, hopefully by the transfer
back.
window closing in a couple of days, then we may see some clear stuff. But no,
It
that
doesn't.
is
It doesn't feel like it though, does it?
not really.
I don't know what you lot are thinking. I know this transfer window is always crap mid-season, but I can't believe there's only this long left. There's been no movement on anything yet.
No, I
And
mean,
usually it'll be finished in 2 days. We got another 4 because it ends on the 3rd.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, based on all the teams that we've got on here tonight, Spurs, Everton, Fulham, Bournemouth. I mean, Bournemouth's done one prospect for the future. Our goalkeeper was meant to be a prospect, but then ended up having to be thrown in. Everton are still trying to get rid of the loan players that you've got to then get more people in, which is a surprise. And then Fulham haven't really done much either, have they? So we're all kind of stagnant at the moment, apart from buying young players for the future. So it shows how difficult this market is. But there are players out there that you can get, and clubs saying that they can't get people.
Yeah.
They're full of shit.
I don't
It can
like
be.
it.
It can be a domino as well. Like sometimes once one big player moves, then that team needs to get a player in. Then I feel we've just started the domino effect where these Aston Villa strikers look like one could leave, and that could start teams
That
thinking,
might-
you know what?
Yeah.
If Arsenal have gone all out to get a striker, then Chelsea will think, right, we need to get this, and then Spurs owner will be like, we need to get this, and I think that could kick it all off.
Oh no, come on, Dan. You know, the Spurs, Daniel Levy's not going to turn around and say, oh, we need to get this. He's going to look at a player and then he's going to look at the car park and say, actually, I could build another racetrack.
Do you know what, though? I do honestly, I agree with you. Dan Levi is a tight arse, and I don't like him as an owner, and I think that's Spurs' downfall. But I think he's a bit of up his own arse, and I don't think he would like that banner, you know, where he was all over the media looking at the banner and saying he's a shite owner after he's paid for a new stadium. And I know he's a shit owner, but he brought Maddison, he spent 60 million, he brought Solanke, he brought Richarlison, he still has spent a bit of dollars. So I do think, you know, he is going to buy you a couple of players. Although I think he's a tight arse, I think he is going to react. He won't like that banner. I know.
Plus, he don't sign our manager though.
No, I mean the point that you've just said there, it's react. He will react. He will not plan.
Exactly.
He will react to an opportunity where someone goes, oh, I've got a little. It's like we want him to go and spend, just say, God knows how much at Marks and Spencer's or Waitrose, and he'll go down Aldi and go, I've found something kind of similar to what you need, but not fully what you need. But I think on that note, it is 10:30. I think everyone is probably tired, sick of our voices now, but we have had a good laugh. So, obviously, thank you very much to Harry, as always, for having us on here for another show. I know he's got two of his co-hosts in me and Joe now working together on these, and then I'm stuck with my regulars as well, having to put up with them as usual. There you go, Dan, I'm back. Stuck with you lot now. Oh, right, but no, obviously... Joe, thanks very much for coming on, mate. It's a pleasure to work with you today. So where can everyone find you, mate?
Yeah, you can find me on X at Joesph THFC. Obviously, working with Harry a bit more as a co-host, and hopefully, I'll be joining you guys more for these Game Week previews. I've had a really good time. It's been really great to meet you all, and really enjoyed it. I'm going to be doing some post-match spaces on X as well. Last time we had about 300 people in there, which was really good. So yeah, it's been great to get involved and really looking forward to the future. But again, thank you all for having me. Really enjoyed myself.
No, it was a pleasure, mate. Craig, thank you very much as always for your tactical analysis and insight, mate. It's been a pleasure to have you on for a second week in a go. So where can everyone find you?
So you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, UTCIAD AFCB is the handle on most things, to be honest. X, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, we're at bloody everywhere. And do go check out, our interview with Peter Hooton from the farm. And also, Spurs fans, you might not want to check out our video about Andoni Iraola when we react to can Spurs burst our bubble. Because it's a little bit ruthless, and I do turn around, and to be honest, it's only playful. I do say that Iraola could wait to go to a bigger club like Arsenal. I don't mean it really.
No, that's fair, mate. That's
You're
fair.
going to ban me now, aren't you?
Well, I can
Yes.
I can relegate you to Dan's movie show on a Tuesday night where you don't get the big time, but you can go. No, you're always welcome on here, Craig, with
No,
me,
cheers,
mate.
Thank you so much, guys.
And Barney, obviously, you had a week off. You're back again. Thanks very much, as always, mate, for coming on. Where can everyone find you?
A week holiday, and it's great to chat to you, Kallum. Great host. Joesph, Craig, Dan. Pleasure to talk to you this evening, guys. Hopefully we'll do it again soon. And you can find me on X, Ambrose Barnaby, talking about Fulham and Premier League and all that kind of stuff. And a big thanks to Harry also for giving me the opportunities for this show. So big up.
Lovely stuff. And last but not least, my good friend Dan, thank you very much for coming on at late notice for me, mate, to back me up this week. So where can everyone find you, mate?
Everton are going to win the FA Cup with davidmoyes.com. Look it up. That's going to be the new name on my channel probably after we win the FA Cup. No, Toffee Blue
You won't
Cast.
get past us.
I can't wait to play you. I'm ready. We're winning. We've got to win a trophy. FA Cup this season, Coleman's last season. No, Toffee Blue Cast. We do a sideshow, which we had Kallum on, movie night, which was pretty good. A half an hour show, bit of fun, but we try and do everything. Toffee Blue Cast, we do everything, whatever you want. You know what I mean? Take your tops off, celebrate, paint ourselves blue. I think I have painted myself blue. Rode a unicorn down the street for Everton to win. Done it all. We have a laugh. Toffee Blue Cast, me and Paul are on it all the time. And get on it and get us to 1 billion subscribers.
Right, as always, we do not condone Dan thinking that it's on a unicorn. He probably was on something. We don't know what it was.
It was actually a unicorn. I've seen the video.
Yeah, I mean, what was you taking? What was you taking that weekend?
This is how balmy you could. This is how balmy you could get if you actually do end up in a relegation battle, right? My daughter brought her a unicorn for Christmas. Those ones with wheels where you can actually ride the unicorn. It's about this big. And I had a unicorn in the house. Everton coming up, could get relegated. I ride the unicorn down my street with my Everton top on for good luck. Everton won, the unicorn work. That's the sort of thing you can do. Lucky socks, lucky unicorn, lucky everything if you end up in that bottom three. I hope you don't, but yeah.
Good to know what
I'll
being on
video.
acid gets me for a weekend.
You'll laugh your head off.
Oh, don't. Right. Well, thank you very much, as always, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe Harry's channel. And if anyone isn't bored of listening to me tonight, go and check me out at Kallum Stubbs 97 on Twitter, well, X. You can find us at Park Lane Podcast and as co-host with Joe on Scarfey Spurs Talk as well. So obviously go like and subscribe, follow Harry, and thanks very much as always, mate. And everyone, good night and have a good evening.